What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Reality Check with Rios. We got our boy Stet in the building. Uh,
Yeah.
Came through, show some love, get this good conversation going, and just get real. This is a not your average podcast. It's the Reality Check-in, and so we're going to talk about some stuff that's of meaning, that's of impact, that we could dig a little deeper and dive into some controversial topics or just what's going on with the other person, what you've been through, how did you get here, type shit. So here we go. Reality check with Rios. Let's go.
Man,
Featuring my boy Stat.
we here.
So, dude, I'm gonna just hop right into it
Yeah.
and just like you were talking about, I saw you on. I think it might have been fair to say where you were talking about the importance of travel
Mm.
and seeing the world. But then I also saw you say that you were born. Where were you born?
I was born in Rockford, Illinois.
Rockford, Illinois, to Texas to Los Angeles.
Correct.
Do you think, as a child moving from place to place, that may have sparked a little interest in you to travel the world, to see other places because of what you saw as a child? Like, oh shit, from here to here is a difference. From here to here, as you got older, is a difference. So,
yeah, there definitely was a change. Shit, first, before we get into it, congratulations on the
Oh.
pod. This is the first episode, so I'm honored to even be here with my G.
Yeah,
I've been
man.
wanting to sit down with him for a minute, so I appreciate the invite. This is really dope.
Yeah.
Setup is amazing, and I know it's gonna do good things. But yeah,
He don't know he a permanent guest.
yeah, I'm a permanent.
He
Hey,
don't even know.
low key, don't play with me. We'll mess around and make it happen on here.
Oh shit! And
As
this
it-
is his seat, cuz. Like,
Yeah,
nigga.
look, seats in the chat on reality check. I got my seat already. I'm calling it. I was first guest.
Oh shit!
But no, yeah. So I was born and raised in Rockford, Illinois. Small city outside of Chicago, probably about 45 minutes
Okay.
drive, like 50 miles, 60 miles, to get to the main part of Chicago. And yeah, I think from as a youth, I don't think I ever really. I always felt like I wanted more because my city was small city. It didn't
Copy.
really provide me many opportunities.
So wait, how old were you when you realized that? Like when you actually
Mm.
realized your area and you were aware of your surroundings. Like this, I'm bigger than what's here, or I've outgrown my area, or I've outgrown my city
Yeah.
and the place that you grew up. How old were you when you realized that?
I was probably approaching high school.
Okay.
I think middle school going into high school where you kind of start to find yourself or you kind of feel like you got an idea of what you want to do
Mhm.
when you realize, well, for me, it was always basketball growing up. Obviously.
So you're an athlete also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, mainly basketball. I never really dibbled and dabbled in anything else other than for fun. I mean, outside of like competitively playing, I played kickball, softball, baseball, all the little sports, flag football. But I never really got into anything other than basketball. That's just where my passion was. All the people I looked up to, and being from right outside Chicago, as I was saying, Michael Jordan was such a huge influence in the early 90s for everybody who lived there. So
Right. Mike was
Cen-
it.
Yeah, United Center was an hour and 15-minute drive. You know what I mean? To
Okay.
go to the west side of Chicago was a hop, skip, and a jump from Rockford. So I was highly inspired by MJ and then basketball. Obviously, most people who come up with unfortunately, some minority descent always take the approach of a sport
Mm-hmm.
or a music or interest.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, I was one of those kids, but basketball didn't pan out. Unfortunately, I was a little too bad in school and was getting in trouble and wasn't eligible. And basketball wasn't the move. And then I dove into music. And I think that was right at the time, to your point, of middle school to high school,
Mhm.
where I realized if I want to do anything, even if it's basketball or music,
Mhm.
it can't happen here.
Okay.
So I realized that my reach and my resources were very limited to be an inner city kid.
Okay.
And I realized that, man, I'm not going to stay here. I think if I can move at any point in time in my life, which was crazy, I already knew I wanted to live in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that wasn't the move first that happened. We moved into Texas first, but
That
yeah, I always
that
wanted to
was
live
a
here.
brief stop. Texas was a brief stop.
Texas was from 18, my year 18, 18 years old to 26.
Okay. So you
I
spent
went
a
to
good amount of time.
Yeah, I
there.
went to Dallas. I always attribute a lot of who I am as a man to those years in
Mhm.
Dallas, because that's where I think you really start to find yourself as a man, is 18 to 25, where you kind of get out on your own. You start experience with serious relationships. You got friends, you lose friends, you getting in trouble, you're not getting in trouble. You kind of start to find yourself a little bit to where you know, damn, I lost my train of thought. But no, you kind of start to find yourself in that transitional period of growing up to be a man, where you have life experiences that actually show you who you are and can kind of tell you. And I realized that Texas really molded me, you know what I mean, into
Right.
who I was. So I stayed long. I built a lot of good relationships, and that's where my career. I really dove into my career as being something was in Dallas.
Okay. So this is another thing I want to touch on. A lot of people say like us in the inner city as adults or adults put their children in sports and oh, only so many kids are going to make it out of to be a professional or go to college, get their college paid for. But a lot of people don't ever talk about the life lessons that are involved with sports, like what you get to witness as a parent, talking to your child, getting to coach them through or talk them through life experiences and lessons that you get to see in real time. So I think that's beneficial. But I had a question, like, did coming up rapping and in the industry, what life lessons did you learn from that? Like,
Man, I
were
think
there
that's
any
what.
major life lessons that you did learn from being in the music industry?
Yeah, I honestly at that grew me into being very self sufficient. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was one of the biggest things I know in the music industry. If you don't have a lot of money or resources, it makes it very hard to accomplish anything.
Mm-hmm.
So as a youth, I've always been kind of nerdy, as a lot of people joke on me about and say, and I welcome, you know what I'm saying, the fact that I am nerdy. But as a kid, I was always into technology and gadgets and electronics and things. So I started realizing that in order for me to make it or become successful, I had to learn to be self sufficient and be more resourceful and be able to learn on the fly and grab things and adapt quick. Because in the music industry, even I would probably say even from 2008 to like 2013, things were moving fast. It was a big transitional period, and I was young, man. I had just moved to Dallas. I was working at cell phone stores, selling cell phones and rapping on the side and doing things with my manager. And then I signed my record deal with Lil Flip. But I just learned at that time, in order to get to that point, I had to do shit on my own.
Okay.
I had to learn how to do Photoshop. I
Yeah.
started doing all my own Photoshop. I just had to learn how to edit videos. I had to learn how to engineer my own music. I bought my own equipment, similar to like what
So
you're
you're
doing.
familiar with the platform
Yeah,
and of
yeah.
doing things like camera,
Yeah.
audio. So
I
it's
mean,
gonna
literally
be
everything, top to bottom. I try not to get into it too much on the platforms. I don't like to make it a lot about me, but
so okay. Let me talk about that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get into that with you. The not wanting to talk about yourself or you not wanting to. You think you may be patting yourself on the back or you might be boasting and bragging,
Mhm.
but it's okay to say what you're qualified for, what you've been
Right.
through. Because you know why? That opportunity that somebody might have heard you say that or seen you say that would have been a door to open, a window to open for you, didn't ever get this opportunity because you said, you know what, I'm gonna save it for later.
Yeah.
But it could have been that moment. Somebody could have just been walking by. Somebody could have been watching.
Do you believe in a time and a place too, though,
I believe there's a time
or the speaking to the proper ears or the proper audience, or what message you deliver to specific audiences?
I think so. I would agree there, but how often do you know that to be absolutely correct when the right time is and when the wrong time is?
I mean, without divulging too much, I can just go based off experience. In my experience, when I was talking about myself on these certain platforms, it wasn't received well. It looked like I was being arrogant, or
By who?
I think by the masses. I think by the
Okay.
people that I'm indulging with in this FMW space. A lot of the fan base at first was automatically jumping on me as like, you think you better than, even before the Instagram post where I kind of dug myself a hole there. But even before that, it was just like, anytime I spoke on what I did, it was like, oh, you ain't shit, that don't matter, blah, 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 blah. So eventually it's like, there's a certain audience where you can cater to and deliver certain messages. So I felt like over time, it wasn't the best space for me to speak on my past. I mean, I have a very extensive past, and people always laugh at me by saying that, but I've been around for almost 20 years
Mhm.
in everything you can think of industry. From the
Okay.
beginning of it to the tail end now, to where I'm in, where you step out and you do stuff from the behind the scenes.
Right.
I was always the front of the scenes guy.
Okay.
I took my step back because it became a lot.
But okay, and then with that, would you are you going to let people that are around, are the audience, are the fans, are the viewers, are just your peers, are you going to let them dictate how you behave and what you say? It doesn't, because it doesn't really matter how they receive the message. The message is what
Is
matters.
that I got it out.
You got it out and you did
Right.
your part, because no matter what, and this is in all walks of life, this is through everything, you can't please everybody.
Right.
You can do you could be Michelle Obama trying to make America healthy, and then parents are going to say, "Hey,
You're doing something
you're
wrong.
doing something wrong. My kids are they have the right to eat unhealthy."
Right.
And it's mind-boggling that they would even come up with that that logic, right? Like
Mhm.
they would even come up with that logic, like, wait, what? So you can't really concern yourself with
What they're gonna say.
what they're going to say, like the reception, because their perception is their reality. Your perception is your reality.
Yeah, yeah. I think if I was in a different setting, I would have been a little bit different on it. I think like you kind of mentioned back when everything was going on, once you're backed into a corner, you kind of get into a defense mode and
Right.
in a defense mechanism just naturally.
Absolutely.
And so I jumped the gun by doing that, and it became hard to try to want to explain myself after that. You know what I mean? I figured I would wait for the right time and place, or let people get more receptive to me first before I start to just speak on my accolades or what I can and can't do.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, to the point of being backed in the corner, when you are backed in the corner, you tend to just shoot out what you can do, and that
Yeah.
when it becomes to look arrogant. So
Yeah.
I
Like,
do want to do it.
That's my go-to.
Right, I do want to do it. I don't ever want to, as people probably can tell, I'm very outspoken. I'm very well spoken. So I'm the type person who I want to get it off.
Right.
I want to talk to you, and we can talk for hours in full, complete sentences and paragraphs. But a lot of people are short-winded and don't want to hear that. So I save it for the right time and right place. Hopefully, and as I grew onto people, now people may be more receptive to my story, and hopefully platforms like this will allow that to get out naturally without it looking like I'm boasting and bragging, to those Texas years where I, really developed a lot of my talents and skills.
Because it's a thin line between like being reserved, right? Like reserving for later dates, but also like you don't want to ever make yourself smaller.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like don't want to make yourself smaller in a room because you think like this is it. Never
Turn down your light so that
turn-
you don't feel like you overshining everybody.
Absolutely, never do that. Like because
I don't want to, but man, bro, I've not to cut you off,
No,
but I
you're
just
good.
like I feel like this is the humbled arrogance I say. I feel like I've always had that aura
Mhm.
to where, not necessarily, it sounds so cliche and crazy to say, like when I walk in a room, like I
Mhm.
light up the room, but I've always given an aura ever since a youth. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the charisma. I don't know if it's my image. I don't know if it's my height, if it's the tattoos, the light skin. I don't know what it is. People will tell you from my youth, family, girls, whatever the case may be, I've always had a contagious energy and aura. Whether you like it or not, it's some type of contagious. So I've always battled with having a bright light, and when I got to a point where the attention became a lot for me, or it was overbearing or, on me emotionally, and it didn't feel good, I started to turn that light down as much as I could.
Right.
And it wasn't even like a conscious take until you just said that. You made me realize that, damn, I do turn my light down, G.
Yeah, that's
And it's not good. You know what I'm saying?
and you turn your light down not to benefit you. You turn your light
Nah.
down to benefit everybody else around you.
Yeah, that's
So
cold take.
you're prioritizing the people that are around you that may not even give a fuck about you.
That's the first
and-
reality check.
And you're
On reality check with Rios. God damn. I'm
Like-
glad I pulled up.
you might be making yourself smaller for people that don't even give a fuck about you, or they don't have any goodwill or good intentions for you. And here you are putting them first, making yourself smaller.
No,
And
that's
so
cold. That's
this-
right.
This is the moment, and I've been saying it. 2024 is really our time, right? It's our time to grow and become who we are, and to move into our future and
Right.
what we're going to do.
Right.
And this is not a moment to turn off the light,
Yeah.
to make yourself smaller. Right now, it's full throttle, 100%.
Turn that
full
bitch up.
Turn it up,
Yeah.
because great things are on the other side. You know what I mean? And
I
you
appreciate
can't. And I'm not saying like wolves don't worry about the thoughts of sheep or anything. I'm not saying anybody's a sheep. Everybody could be a wolf. Everybody could be a sheep.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? Stet has to put himself first.
Right.
And so, and then we can get into the point of where we get defensive, right? And our defense is, maybe in your case, our defense can be, this is what I've done, this is what I've accomplished, this is, so now it's coming out, you having to say it.
Yeah. It
Now,
did. It backfired on me.
It backfired. So
because it didn't come out the right way.
It didn't come out organic. It came out as in, like, say your significant other is complaining about you, like saying, oh, you know what? I want to talk to you about this. You've had this habit of not taking out the trash and this and that. And then your first response is, before even answering that, is, well, you didn't do such and such.
But I did this, and this.
So instead of receiving the information, you react, right? You attack.
Right.
So now your information comes out unorganic,
Defensive.
it comes out defensive, it comes out cocky,
right,
confident, it comes out fast, it comes out loud.
Yeah.
You know
I did
what I mean?
that. I made that mistake. I admitted to it. I definitely, in retrospect, would have done a few things a little bit differently, so it could have been organic. But I hope that as time is going on, people are realizing that comes from an organic place, that I'm not coming from a place of arrogance when I say what I can do and what I've accomplished. But like when people try to diminish your light, even when you don't want them to, that's a defense mechanism. You know what I'm saying? To spit out your accolades and things you've done, to be like, hey, don't play with me. But
hey, look, and it's even worse in this arena because the people that are judging, are seeing you, they're only seeing you for an hour.
Yeah.
So it's even more heavy because that's all they have to go off of.
Yeah.
They don't get to see the other 124 hours or whatever, how many hours in the week that you spend. They only get to see the one hour.
Yeah.
And so now they're at the point of like, oh, this is who Stet is. Oh, I've seen him 3 times, which is only 3 hours or whatever. He's always talking about what he is or what he's done. So they think that's everything because that's what you showed on there. So I would say, because Pun kind of touched on a good thing too. He was like, man, unleash it.
Yeah,
he did. And how Pun says it sounds like destruction or whatever. But what he's saying is embrace whatever you are and go full throttle. Walk through the door as who you are.
Yeah.
And that's what I think Keem does very well. You know what I mean? Like I've been watching and paying attention to Keem and Paulo. I pay attention to everybody as much as I can pay attention, but not dimming his light. Going into every room as Keem.
Embracing himself.
Yeah. And so, but look, when I first got on camera, my defense was like, when I didn't know what to do, was to be aggressive. Cuz and this and like fuck, like, but that was what I was comfortable with. That's what I resort to.
That's your defense mechanism.
That's my defense mechanism, was aggression, like that type of nature. And I like had to sit back and I had to get to a point where I like took a break and was like, what am I doing? What is the purpose of what I'm doing here and why am I here?
And is it really benefiting you? Because I've realized in my case, it didn't benefit me. You know what I mean? And like I said, it took me to be a man and realize that some of the things I was doing and saying were immature. But I feel like I said, now that people can hopefully get to understand me and grow with me and kind of see where my mindset is, that all that tarnished image of what they thought I portrayed was just a defense mechanism. And it wasn't who I actually am. Because I think people now,
because they judge you off of your worst. You know what I mean? Like they base it off the 2 minutes of that, but and
whatever's funny, whatever you control on, whatever is the catchy thing at the time, and as soon as you bite, it's like a fish on the line, and they got you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but it's growth, man. And I
believe Fair to Say has done you a great justice.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Because just the fact that people get to see you more, get to hear you more, get to see your takes on things, it's more of a complete, equal, balanced step. You know what I mean?
It's not just on a lot of the streams where I was invited as a guest.
Defending yourself the whole time. Like
playing,
your back was against the wall, defending yourself.
Whereas here, I can kind of steer a narrative. I can kind of guide. And I think to that point, shout out to T-Rail, AD, specifically that I know, but Pun and everybody as well for giving me that opportunity to sit at that table and do it. Obviously, I know it was like a trial thing to where, see who's the best fit and how it's going to work. and we 25 episodes in. You know, I've been there every episode, and I think so. Shout out to them for the opportunity, but I think it's working, and I think it's allowed me to really showcase my ability to have a conversation about really anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think it was ever a doubt if you could hold the conversation.
Nah, people knew I could talk, but I
don't think that was ever like in question.
No, I don't think they could. I don't think they doubted that. Like, they be telling me to shut the fuck up sometimes. But so I can hold a conversation, but being a conversationalist is different because when a conversation comes up, if you can jump in that topic and have good points or be able to just flow in that conversation, that's a talent in itself.
Right.
So I take pride in being able to steer conversations, lead conversations, ask good questions, and make you think. You know, I like to make people think and stay off the surface base. So Fair to Say has definitely allowed me the ability to do that, and I look forward to growing it more. It's gained a lot of traction, and I've been getting a lot of looks and appreciation for it. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for that opportunity. I'm excited for my seat.
You should be. Hey, so let's get into that. Let's talk about the seat for a little bit. Because I've seen a few incidents where I'm an older brother. You know what I mean? Like, I think probably the oldest under the umbrella are dealing with the umbrella, like through all the avenues or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I like look into like the details of things. I look a little deeper into things, and the thing about the chair or the seat was like underlining issues. You know what I mean? It wasn't the seat. It was
for sure.
So like even when Duno came on and he did the Fair to Say with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, I don't know where I saw it or whatever, but he was like, man, I went in there and I was like, damn, these are my cameras, and I could fire these guys or this and that. Like, I'm the owner or the higher up.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like a slippery hill, right? Because you're not only like saying some shit that's kind of off, but you're showing that you're not used to having what you got.
Yeah.
You're acting like you haven't been in the.
Were you talking about Duno or Smack?
Duno, and also Smack.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, Duno saying that lets me know, like, oh shit, we're all new to this fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're all in a new arena, new area, but there's a lot of first happening for people.
Right.
You have if you're at a job or you're at a work site and this guy is now the manager, it's his first time being the manager.
You're gonna see some
shit that's faulty, that they have some shit they need to work on.
Yeah.
And you would be like, damn, okay, this motherfucker's not used to power.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
power tripping is a thing.
Power tripping is a thing, but I'm not saying that he was doing it, but that is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's a facet that can be a thing. And Smack, like, you would think at that point, you're doing Fair to Say that it would be a thank you. I appreciate you for being here every show, instead of like, let me test him.
Yeah.
Let me test the waters.
Yeah.
Like, how much longer do I have to prove myself to you?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what is this? Like, and it's shit, like what Sally says about Susie says more about Sally than it does Susie, right?
Yeah.
And so people can be coming, and I'm not calling Smack ignorant or immature, but you can be ignorant to a certain thing. You may not even know or understand why you're doing some shit. And I looked into it. I looked a little deeper. I was like, okay, there's some underlying issues going on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you literally hit it right on the head, bro. And I'm glad there's people that can see it the way you can kind of see it. I think a lot of it is appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think I don't actually need verbal appreciation all the time, but your actions sometimes speak louder than words. And the things that you say when I'm not around speak louder than words. So, you know, when I'm working for someone, you can only say so much. And I do respect the platform that I work on and the people that I work for. So I take a lot of it as jokes, because I do know a lot of it does come from a joking standpoint. But again, all good jokes contain true context.
Right.
So I read into it a lot. I try not to get into my mind because I know the space that I'm in. But a lot of it is, you know what I'm saying? I think I put in enough work on this show and made it, and if I'm talking about myself, I made it into something that is very watchable. And shout out to Illa too. You know, she's definitely contributing to that, as well as us being the 1 and 2. But I feel like I did a lot for that show. I'm doing a lot. I do a lot behind the scenes. A lot behind the scenes.
So like somebody might take it that as if it's the 1 and 2. Instead of the 1A, 1B.
There's your ace boy. Is your ace boy Rios kicking in. That's what a pun Offset rubbing off.
You know?
But one and two, no matter who's one or who's two.
It doesn't matter. But that's what I'm saying. Like, somebody could take that statement and run with it.
It's crazy. As soon as I said it, I thought that. I think so quick. Like, as soon as I speak, I literally think back. I heard back what I said right after I said it, and I'm like, I hope Illa or somebody doesn't see that and be like, I'm saying I'm one and somebody's two. But no, it's being the 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Is whoever's leading the show that day, whoever's leading the charge. Again, I just so happen to be there the most, and I've had my spot. But again, you know, we doing our thing, and I feel like with how much that I do behind the scenes, as far as just art and creative input and mental input and just being around and being somebody that you can count on, yeah, you do want to be acknowledged a little bit more to the masses so that the masses can also embrace you. You know, when you got somebody who's giving you a cosign or shouting you out, eventually that starts to rub off on other people, and then you can kind of change the narrative of what's been painted already. Right. And, you know, so sometimes as time goes on, as I've been in this space for a pretty long time now, you would think that the embrace would feel a little bit more embracing to some of the people. But I don't take nothing from it. I know what I'm doing.
You know what you're doing.
You know what I mean? I know what I bring. I know the value that I have. I know the impact that I have. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, everybody's talented in their aspect, but I think what I bring to that and onto this platform, again, with it being my idea, and
so fair to say, it was your idea.
Okay, so I touched on this a little bit, and it went left. I wish it didn't get to go left back on Fig when the conversation actually happened. But let me just give you a quick little backstory. So me and T-Rail obviously have a dope relationship. We communicate about everything, just behind the scenes, text messages, calls, whatever the case may be. I'll think of a dope idea and just call him, hey, this would be dope. And we'll just ponder on it. So we had already did numbers on the board. We were sitting around thinking about coming up with a sports show. I came up with the name and numbers on the board. We did that. So we already had this thing of working together with the potting. And most people may not know, I started the Meeks Gang channel with them. So their first YouTube introduction was the Meeks Gang family channel.
So that was T-Rail and his brother?
No, that was T-Rail and Heather and the kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So they started the Meeks Gang family channel on YouTube. Man, this was a while ago. This was pre-COVID. And it was obviously their idea. They were watching other families like the Ace family and things like that on YouTube. And I was just around. I don't know if it was at some event. And I'm just like, man, y'all got to do this. They already had the idea. Like, let's do it. I'll help.
Right.
I'll hold the camera sometimes. I'll edit the videos. I'll do your thumbnails.
Oh, man, you ready to go on your own shit.
Yeah.
You are really literally...
Yeah, I was already ready.
You just got to jump off the fucking porch.
Yeah, a decade ago. It's all about timing and opportunity.
A decade ago, huh?
Yeah, over a decade ago. I've been tapped in with a lot of these people who were still in middle school. Man.
So,
but yeah, so to that point, to that point, I'm not taking credit for anything. Obviously, it's them. They're the talent. I just helped curate, and I wanted to help build something I thought was dope. So we went to YouTube. We toured the office. We did the whole shit. I held the camera, edited all the videos, all the thumbnails for the first couple years. You know what I'm saying? Damn. And that really grew to something for them and opened their eyes, I think, to, man, we can really be content creators.
Right.
So that helped spark that. So it goes back to that. Like, I've been around for a long time helping out behind the scenes with that. So it brings us up to the idea where the news was kind of getting old, FMW news.
Right.
And this was, I think, the tail end of 23. And it was getting kind of old. And so they were like, we're going to cancel that shit and think of something new. And at this point, I'm like, fuck, this is the only platform I'm on. Like, the news is the only thing that I'm comfortable on where people embrace me or I'm welcome to at this point. I'm still new.
Like, God damn it.
I'm like, fuck, the news gone. So immediately I'm like, if I'm going to somewhat take this serious, which after a couple months, everybody trolled me about not want to be on camera. And so once I realized I could take it serious and I was going to somewhat take it serious, I'm like, man, I got to think of something to switch this, a new show that I can be on or whatever. So I was just contemplating ideas. And at this time, this was when Smack, fair to say, lingo was really, like, he first started saying it and people was coining it and catching it. And everybody was saying, like, you need to turn that to merch and all this. So it was already booming.
That nigga Smack needs a shout out because that motherfucker be coining all kinds of shit.
That's where I'm getting to, yeah.
That might be the real Midas.
He got the touch, you know? Man. Fuck Golden. He got the Midas
touch. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of stuff he says,
his lingo is fire.
It's all in the chat. It's all like it catches. You know what I mean? It might be from where they from or whatever, but it's the way
It's
his
catchy.
energy and his vernacular, it catches on.
Yeah,
You know?
So definitely shout out to Smack. Obviously, there's a lot of people that think we bump heads. We do a little bit, but I think it's just I think he sees something in me, and I think he finds a battle with how to communicate it to me. It's like one of those things where like you fuck with somebody, but it's kind of hard to tell them you fuck with somebody when
Right.
you come from a place where showing love is not always a comfortable and embraced thing.
You think he might be jealous of you and T-Rail's relationship?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't put the J word on it at all. They have way more history than I do, and our relationship is much different. No, hell no. But I think that I think sometimes when a lot of times people that come from a place of it where showing love is looked upon as weak,
Mm-hmm.
especially showing love to another man, it comes across as like backhanded.
Right.
It's like I'll say something, but I still fuck with you.
Right.
So I don't take it personal, you know what I'm saying? They don't know me from a can of paint for real, to be honest. And I come from a completely different background and space to where I may be hard to receive at times, and I understand, especially to certain demographics. So it's cool. I don't take nothing from it, but to the fair to say point, he gets a lot of credit. Smack is definitely really dope with coming up with the lingo, and it was catching. And I hit T-Rail in a text message, and I'm just like, I got a concept for a show, and it's gonna be like X, Y, and Z, and you should name it Fair to Say. And his point was that I guess he had spoke to Pun about it already. It was already an idea, but my standpoint is I didn't know that, so I'm standing on the fact that I pitched this, this idea. So I don't need credit for that, but I like the fact that I helped contribute even if Pun did or not, I still was able to help contribute somewhat to make this. So the roundtable idea, Fair to Say, all the guests come, and you can pod with different people on the platform that people aren't used to seeing pod together. And
Right.
that was kind of the concept for that. And yeah, so it came together. We started putting it together, and throughout the whole thing, T-Rail will tell you, we talked through the whole process. I was over there at the set damn near every day. I painted the wall. I put together the shelves. I put the shelves up. I painted the art. He hit me like, we want to do this art. I'm like, cool, I'll do it.
Right.
I did it for the super low.
Right.
Just because it's like, nigga, just pretty much pay me for materials. Like,
Right.
And I do it out of the love for the show, for the set, for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love doing art anyway. So did all the art. Six put the table together and the chairs together. I set up the mics and all that. And so I've been a part of it.
You was a part of the collective. It was like a collective effort, and you have put in your sweat equity into that show.
Sure. And again, I'm not looking. Nobody may not even know all that, but I'm not looking for kudos to run and say all that. But at some times, to the point of the chair, being acknowledged sometimes is good, and being acknowledged out loud, not just behind the scenes, sometimes is good.
Right.
And just knowing that your presence is felt and that you are literally making a good impact because it's there.
That's natural to want to be credited for the effort that you put in. Like, I'm not asking for a promotion or raise.
Yeah,
like, hey man, you fucking killed that shit. Good job.
If only people joke about it, but all the shit I do for free,
right?
Literally free, like gas, pulling up, driving, hanging shit, doing shit, screwing shit. Yeah, T-Rail throw me some cash here and there out of love, but I don't ever come in like, hey bro, that's gonna be $250. Right. That's gonna be $300. I pull up and do it out of love, and if nigga want to throw me $100, let's do it. I'm not even that type of person. I'm not selfish. I like to see everybody win, evolve. So yeah, man, I just want that same energy reciprocated.
It's a symbiotic relationship though, right? Because both parties are all parties are benefiting from the relationship or the friendship or whatever.
That's the way I look at it.
And so, like, do you think that like when the cameras come on, that energy changes, or maybe once the cameras are on or we're streaming, like energy can shift a little bit to being more like not necessarily derogatory, but just more like hitting the nail on the head type shit?
Yeah. Rios is big budget over here. He getting all kind of upgrades to his studio / house. So if y'all hear stuff in the background, he big budget. Big budget. If you seen this set, nigga, I walked in this mud like, ooh, I got a lot to look forward to if I do some shit. But
they remodeling in the kitchen, so
yeah, he big budget. But what was you saying? My fault. I just was hurt the distraction.
I was saying, do you think the energy may change once the cameras come on? Like it could be like for content or this and that.
Yeah.
It may not be like a true feeling. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but we're gonna run with this.
I think a lot of it, I think probably 90% of it is all content. But I think there's a lot of it. And a lot of times I got to get out of my head being a Libra. I think a lot. And I got to get out of my head sometimes to think that people not acknowledging me sometimes or showing love is like backhanded hate.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know too that a lot of shit is performative. You know what I mean? Like when these cameras come on with certain people, not necessarily saying certain people by name, but certain people when the cameras come on, they, you know, you get a little performative. You know what I'm saying? And you want to make for good entertainment or good jokes or good laughs, so everything is embellished a little bit. So I respect it. But yeah, to your point, you know, things change when the cameras come on, but you know, you just got to play it as is.
You go with the blows, you go with the flow of the situation. Because when I saw like you and T-Real, like, so what is your relationship with T-Real? Is it brother type relationship, friendship type relationship, business acquaintance? Like, what would you describe your relationship as?
Our relationship over the years has grown to be a lot more close through business endeavors.
Okay.
But our initial interaction was I was on tour with Lil Twist, and T-Rail was on tour with Tyga.
Okay.
And obviously I had already known Heather from Dallas.
Copy.
We had a mutual friend circle of people from MySpace and all that everybody just knew each other. I knew some of her people. She knew some of my people. And when the time came around that I was on tour, it was like, oh, you now dating him. It's like, oh, so we all know each other.
Yeah.
Like, cool, this dope. I'm on tour. She introduced us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this my friend Stat, you know, this T-Rail or whatever. But I had seen him just in passing.
Yeah, before
I never had a direct,
being in the same.
Right. So a lot of people misconstrued. Like, I knew T-Rail prior, but I don't think we were like cordial.
Okay.
But
so basically in passing, you guys knew each other in passing.
Yeah, just like, because they was under the same. They was both. We were all YM. We all run around with YMCMB shirts on.
Oh, that's right. Because Tyga was Y. Yeah.
Okay. So that was the era of heavy YMCMB days, where there was a lot of entourage and people coming and going. But he was always a standout, and everybody knew T-Rail was the hothead. You know what I mean? At this time, Wayne was talking about him in songs and shit, and so I just never knew him personally. But we knew kind of probably of each other. Got the proper introduction from Heather on tour.
Okay.
We were on tour. She introduced me. And then from that point, it was just, I knew him through Heather at that point, or through Twist and through tour. But as time went on, I was still in Texas. Heather had moved on to Texas and was with T-Rail. And I was doing music still. And I was trying to like grow my music and all that and do stuff on my own. And that's when I moved to LA.
Okay.
And then when I moved to LA, she was starting Sorella. So it's like, dang, my homegirl, she's starting her business.
Doing
like,
her
that's
shit.
dope as fuck.
Yeah.
I would just pull up.
Shout out to Heather, man.
Man, for
Being
real.
a
Like,
fucking business
I've
person.
seen
Always
her
on
and her sisters and her families for a long time, and where she started from and where she was working to now, you know, being this big brand. So when I first moved out here, it was just like all love. It was support. You know, I shouted out on the songs, the Sorella and shit. I would pull up. And so through that time, pulling up to Sorella, off of the strength of Heather, I built more relationship with T-Rail now. So it's like, oh yeah, this your homie from tour. Oh, bet, what does he do? And at that time, I was doing graphic design for clothes.
Oh shit. Okay.
And so I was like, yo, Heather, you know, if holla at T-Rail, is there any opportunity for me to design for Last Kings? And so just that's kind of a little bit of the backstory. It was knew him, got introduced to him, moved to LA, got around more, built a stronger relationship. Started designing some clothes. Never really went to print because LK shut down, but built a lot of relationships up there. And then from that point on, you started the YouTube with him. And then so it just became like use me, don't misuse me. You know, it was like Heather was the homegirl from back in the day. She's in a good opportunity, a good space. She has opportunity for me. Let me try to jump into this and take this opportunity and grow my relationships. And at the same time, I'm contributing pretty much free labor, you know what I mean, just to be around, just to apprentice and learn and get game and info. And T-Rail taught me a lot. You know, the homies behind the scenes taught me a lot. And then we just being around from then, started the YouTube. They knew my talents with the computer. So we started the YouTube. And then, long story long, I know this is long.
It's all good.
But we then started a trucking company.
God damn.
So, yeah. So this is not like just a fugazi little relationship. Like, I literally look at these people like family. When I moved to LA.
So that's what I was trying to get to. Like, it's like a brother. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's because what I saw in that argument or that disagreement that you guys had on the stream or back on Fig, I was like, that's not anger. You know what I mean? Like, that's
was love.
Disappointment, frustration, and love between like fuck.
Yeah, that was
Like-
that was a love head bump.
Right.
You know, that was a love clash because even when we went outside, you know, the emotions that was in with everything going on, you could tell that it's emotion that it wouldn't, if a nigga didn't fuck with a nigga, it wouldn't be
That
like
wouldn't
that.
even be like if a
hell
nigga didn't
nah.
give a shit, nigga would be like, get the fuck
I
out
would
of
have
here.
never been back around this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show I know the love he has for me, even though sometimes the camera comes on, it may look different. But yeah, I wish it would have handled different. But yeah, it is a love thing. Like when I moved to LA, I have no family out here. Like zero. When I tell y'all,
Shout out to the Meeks family, cause them some good people over there.
Shout
dude.
out to the Meeks fam, because literally every holiday I would get invited over. Thanksgiving, Christmas, they cook. It may not be nobody else over there. It may just be me, SB, and nobody. And they open their door to me to eat, to be loved and welcomed. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with all the kids. So yeah, it is a family. Like I would literally say I love them because it's a genuine love from the jump, but also just everything that we've built over the last, you know, course of 15 years.
What you guys have been through
Yeah.
together.
That's a long time coming.
And then look, like the other thing is like a lot of people are ready to like that, like even with marriages right now, like friendships or whatever, people are so ready to bounce. People are so ready to bounce on something that they've built with somebody for a long time. Like you and T-Rail's relationship, you and Heather's friendship, you and T-Rail's friendship. Some people could be like, oh, fuck that shit. I ain't dealing with that shit. I'm out of here. You know what I mean?
Could have been did
and
that.
and never even get to reap the benefits of the time and the love and energy you put into the relationship. And now look at what the outcome is. Like, it's a, like I said, symbiotic relationship. Like now you unfair to say, now you are doing your thing, and it the opportunity has presented itself through back on Fig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like the effort that you put in, it may not be like just because certain people may not know how to express.
Right. And I've
like,
learned
you
to
know what I
understand
mean?
that. Yeah.
And so the way like that I see it, like Terrell has shown his appreciation through favor. You know what I mean? Or through action. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna show you how much I fuck with you. I'm not gonna tell you, but I'm gonna give you opportunities or do this and that.
No,
and
yeah, you're right.
There's a lot of value to that, but that's also the communication thing. Like, nigga, I don't know what you like.
What you trying to say without saying it. You got to read through the lines to make it make sense. But yeah, no, you know, over time, the appreciation and putting me in position and even starting a business with me and putting up money and doing things that we've done, I know that the love is there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, I'm just thankful to be able to reciprocate it, a lot of shit for free and out of love, and just, you know, speak highly of people that I feel like made a big impact on my life. So, you know,
boom,
love.
And that's I see nothing but good things happening for Fair to Say. You know what I mean? Like as you guys continue to grow, like I was on there. It was just it's to me it's a good mature show podcast. You know what I mean? You guys are talking about some cool shit. I know it's going to continue to evolve into what it's eventually going to be. But I think you guys have a good foundation and a good base. Who would you say right now has been your favorite, or who do you think is like the most solid cast on there that you enjoy?
Hot seat. Boy, put me in the hot seat.
I'm just asking. You know,
Gotta
what I'm saying?
get it off.
Because you got to have a show that was your favorite or something that you want to replicate or duplicate.
That's crazy that you say that, bro, because it's almost like, as corny as it sounds, they're all my babies. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all the shows and all the guests, and I'm looking right now just so I don't think back and miss something. But man, 24, 25 episodes in.
25 episodes in, man. Congratulations on that for sure.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. I don't know. Perfect. I love the rotating. To be honest, let me just be real. I love a set guest. I love set seats. It's awesome. But I think the aspect of Fair to Say that draws the appeal is every time you tune in, you might not know who you see.
Right.
Like we can get a core foundation, and we do have a core rotating. I think right now, if I can think off the top of my head, it's me, Illa, Potlord, Dijon, Donnie, Lazar, and I think Scotty. I think between those 7 people, it's kind of like if somebody else that's not different can't make it or we can't fill the schedule, then these are our core people, and we'll
these
mix.
Are the subs.
Yeah,
we'll sub you in here.
Yeah, we'll mix these 4 people up differently every time. So I really love
Who's the weakest amongst them? No, I'm just saying.
Oh, he
No,
getting in
I'm
his
just-
punstigator, man,
No, I'm
for
just
real.
playing.
No,
But
I don't
no,
think nobody's weak.
who's the weakest?
Everybody has. No, I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I really want to answer, nigga. Just you gonna tell me or not?
No, I'm just fucking with you, man.
I think everybody brings a value. Everybody has either a comedic aspect or a good narrative, or a good person is good at segueing or leading conversations. I think everybody has a thing, but I think I like just the mix of the table to where, especially for the fans too. I think I like it for the fans' sake, where you come in and you don't
keep it
it's
fresh.
these people again. Yeah,
Keep it fresh. It's not getting boring. They can't get used to it. Like,
yeah.
Oh shit, or they can look forward to. Oh shit, I'm waiting for when Dijon
somebody
get on,
new,
or when Pot Lord,
Yep.
or whoever. Like, okay, Friday, or Thursday. This is I think that's a good. Little,
when it comes out, you surprised.
Dynamic.
It's not really no pre-advertisement. You don't know until like 15, 30 minutes before the episode air who's going to be on it. So I think with a little bit more promotion from everybody, the higher ups, we need a little bit more promotion.
Are you not?
I think
more promotion. Are you not being promoted?
What are you trying to say? I think maybe promotion is not the best word. I think supported would have been the worst word to say, but I think that's technically the word I'm looking for. I think more post about it when we're live. I think talking about it more when they're on their podcast, talking about it more, bigging up the host, little things like that coming on. I mean, obviously everybody's made their rounds. Hopefully everybody kind of doubles back again now that, it's been time. But I think a little bit more FMW marketing behind it will make it grow really fast. But right now I think we're doing good. We're averaging about 25,000 views an episode.
Right.
With not much of that promo. So yeah, it's holding its own to the fair to say point. I appreciate it. But to the people that's pulling up, I appreciate you. Thank you. Shout out to Rios for pulling up. He was actually one of my favorite guests, if we're being honest. I'm not just blowing smoke. Since we on Reality Check, I'm being honest. I had told people from the jump I've been looking to pod with him, so that was dope for him to pull up over there. And thankfully, I'm here to return the favor, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you being here.
Of course, this is dope.
So I did want to ask you a quick questions about like maybe a little personal, not too personal.
No,
but
go ahead. Nothing.
I know you're not married.
No,
not married, but you've been in a long-term relationship.
I think it's long-term.
Okay, how long have you been with your significant other?
It was just 4 years in June. So we 4 years and 3 months or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if I heard this correctly, but you don't believe in like the traditional westernized marriage situation?
I think the stigma that's placed on it, it left kind of a bad taste in my mouth. And I think what we see of marriage in America is already tainted. And it's already like something that they portray as, I wouldn't say they. I think a lot of people portray that marriages don't last. And infidelity obviously has an all-time high with social media being a thing. Now, my point of not wanting to be married is not for the infidelity's sake or just the not trusting. I think mine is more of a belief of, I don't think I need to sign paperwork or documents or legalize my marriage to the state,
right,
or to this country. I don't owe my commitment to anyone but my wife and God. And so I think marriage is great if you take away the business aspect, the paperwork aspect, the legality aspect of being tied state-wise. But the beauty of marriage is awesome. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I support that wholeheartedly. If my wife, or if my future wife, or if my current girlfriend wanted to get married,
How does she feel about it? How does she feel about marriage?
I think every woman probably wants a wedding or to be married, I guess, in a safe way to say, wants that wedding, that fantasy fairy tale wedding. So yeah, I think she's down for it, but she's not pressed like me. I think when the opportunity presents itself, or if it does present itself, then yeah, we can do it. But I don't think we really like rush to be married. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have kids either. So, some foundational things that I think probably would be first before I say, all right, let's get married.
Right. So if she wanted it, if she wanted to get married and go that route, would you be open to it? Or is that something that you're standing solid on? Like
now, again, are we able to get married without
paperwork?
Are we able to just go to the go get a pastor, have an event with our actual wedding, you know, with all our family members and get our,
I,
you know, bonded between God and
I
put
don't
our
see
rings
why
on.
not. I don't
Yeah.
see why you couldn't do that. But I'm saying, is she down for that? You know what I mean? Like, is she down for the
Would I go do
untraditional?
that?
Yeah, if she down for the untraditional kind of marriage
Yeah, she would be down for the untraditional kind of marriage. I think
without getting the paperwork done. And
yeah,
not,
yeah, for
okay,
sure. I think
okay.
she would go with me like that. She trusts me a lot, you know, in the way I think, and she trusts that obviously if I make it make sense, she would go with, you know,
Okay.
what we think would be best. But yeah, I don't think she's pressed on that either. She thinks very similar to me. I'm sure, like I said, she'd want to get married for the sake of her family and seeing her dad give her away, have her dad give her away, and all that. And I'm all for that. But to just go do that, I mean, I still think I'm fairly young. I don't think I'm young in terms of people getting married at 35, but I don't know. I don't think we should rush that yet. I think honestly, I know it sounds backwards to a lot of people, but I would prioritize curating a home with a child before I'd prioritize marriage.
With a child.
Yeah, I would.
Before marriage.
Yeah, see, I know that may be a controversial take.
I'm not saying it's controversial, but I didn't think that was what you were about to say.
No, because I was never really big on kids either, bro. Because I know how troublesome and how scary this world is.
Mhm.
And by the time I got around to realizing, hey, I could possibly or think about having kids, I was like 27, 28, going into 30. Like, man, I'm just thinking about kids because I'm getting older. And it's not like because I really want them, like because I knew the responsibility. I was traveling a lot. I was touring. I thought I was going to be living a life of this super rap star. And I wasn't thinking of settling down and doing the whole thing. So, but I was smart enough to also understand I didn't want a broken household.
Right.
So I didn't want to go and just consummate and just have kids outside of something serious. If I'm going to have a kid, I do want it to be in a curated household.
Right.
So I made sure I was always protected and I did my thing, but I never thought about settling down until I got older. And by that time, I still was like, I don't want kids because my mind started changing about the world and the food we eat and all the conspiracies that people call the Stetspiracies and say I'm crazy about, but all that shit that goes on in the world, it makes me, I'm already super like
Conspiracy theory
OC
show coming soon.
Man, for real.
Let's
That might go crazy, bro. I'm very OCD, very perfectionist, very like unfortunately on top of a lot of shit. So like once I started thinking that way, I'm like, if I have a kid, I'm gonna be too overprotected. He's not gonna be able to live his life. He's not gonna be able to eat this. He ain't gonna be able to hang out with these friends. He ain't gonna be able to go here.
So
And that's it's immature, but it's like I would want to protect him. Yeah, I'm very fearful, bro. I would want to protect my seed from all the things that I'm aware are happening in the world, from the government, whether it's medicine to big pharma, to food, to what they spraying in the air, to how dangerous it is going to schools now, and the social media age, and how open you can see sex online. It's like all these things that make me scared about raising a child in this society.
Do you think you're not capable?
Oh, 100% capable.
So do you not believe in yourself that you'll be able to raise a child in that kind of environment in this world and be successful? Because I say that because I feel like to truly know yourself, like I'm in support of people having children when they're ready and they have their, like you said, but to like reach the pinnacle of like actually knowing yourself is seeing yourself through
as
your
a
child.
father.
You know what I mean? And seeing yourself as a father.
We were just talking about this with my
And
girl the other night, bro.
The thing is it's like the exact reason why your body was formed. Why
Whole
the
purpose.
species was
Whole reason I can nut. Pause.
was
Just, that's the whole purpose.
The whole purpose is to give life to your girl so she could give life to the world. Right. And so that process is like you can't replicate or duplicate so many of those emotions, so many of those feelings. And I think we would be remiss if we just say, hey, you want to have a baby? Yeah. Like, I think that takes away from the importance and the gravity
purpose.
Of the purpose of the. It's like, do you want to do what God put you here to do? You know,
or are you just doing it because it comes with sex and you're irresponsible?
Exactly. And so when we say, oh, baby mama, or you gonna have a baby, it's like it takes away how important and how big, how life threatening giving birth and it's like it's so much involved.
That shows that just to your point, it shows like to me that's why I know how important the household is, and by having a good curator of your seed. Like if the person you're not impregnating is not taking care of themselves properly, I'm gonna worry about the outcome of the birth of my child. And I think, you know, to your point of like fear, yeah, it's a fear. It's a fear for sure. The fear of the unknown, but I'm also very like rash in some of my thinking. So when I think of, I know I'm able to raise a child 100%, mentally, physically, financially. You know, I wish I could be better financially, of course.
Of course, everybody wish they
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could get you could be filthy rich. You still
Yeah,
want more financial.
that's one of the biggest things. I'd like to be not in an apartment, in a home and stuff to that point. But you know, I think I'm 100% capable. Even my girl tells me the other day, she gave me some good words of affirmation. She like, I want to give you a kid. I want to see you as a father.
Right.
You deserve that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, that made me feel good, babe. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that you would have the best impact on a young daughter or son, and you need to be able to leave that legacy. So I'm like, okay, I know if I'm gonna have a kid ever, it's gonna be with this woman.
Right.
I'm already understood
Right.
that. But again, to my point of thinking rash, I think crazy. Like, if I have a kid and then in 2 years we got nuclear war, and I'm gotta survive, and I mean, I know it sounds crazy. People don't laugh at me, but I think of like apocalyptic shit to where, and we're on the verge of that with what's going on in this world. So I think of like, let's just say something chaotic happens. It may not even be war, but something chaotic, COVID.
And you know that,
and you got to take care of a
the next
child.
thing is going to be worse than COVID. Whatever
Yeah,
it
way
is,
worse.
It's like the baseline now.
Yeah,
COVID
yeah,
is
yeah.
the baseline.
That was the tester. That was they got a couple million guinea pigs the first time, and it's just only gonna get worse for sure. But that's what I'm saying. Like COVID, the shutting down, power grids going out, starving, not having food readily accessible. You know, a lot of things go into. Have a 2-year-old, and me and my girl and a 2-year-old, and we gotta flee. We gotta do shit. We gotta move. We running with guns. We running with motherfucking trying to stock up food in the trunk and, you know, hit the highway to get out of town. I just think like, if worst case scenario, I know that's not a good thing to think about before having a kid. I know it sounds stupid as fuck, but in the grand scheme of things, I just wonder the what if. With the way I think conspiracy wise, anything can happen at this point, and we're on the verge of it. So do I want to bring a child into what could be? Not what I can't do, but what is the world going to provide for my kid, or what's gonna show what is the world gonna show my kid at that time?
I would much rather a brother overthink the situation than to underthink that situation.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you're just showing the importance of it to you.
It's very
you're just
important.
Showing, like your hesitance or your fears are just like revealing of how important it is to you. Now, it's people that's just popping babies out like, I don't give a fuck.
Don't even care.
I would much rather a brother overthink the situation than to underthink the situation.
I'm an overthinker anyway. People always laugh at me about that. T-Rail always tell me, you think too fucking much. Nigga, you always thinking too much. I'm like, it's just part of it. But yeah, but I think that proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Yes.
To a certain extent. I know I can't be a perfectionist, but the more you can mentally think of something and process multiple aspects and ways of it going, the better I think your outcome is when the time comes.
Right. But I would also say that is like, it's almost like a repeat position for you. Like that's something that you kind of fall back into, where it's like you're putting more importance into what's out there than what you got. You know what I mean? Like you're giving more
outside of
what you have and what you and your girl have in your household. You're giving more weight to what could possibly happen or if this. And those are all anxiety pills, right? Because you're thinking about something that may not ever even fucking happen.
Right. Or things I can't control. Right.
But even if you can't control it, it's not even real. You know what I mean? And your greatness is being held up on something that's not real.
No, you're
or
right,
something
bro.
that you really have put a lot of thought and love into, and something that you want to do. But you put it on, I'm not saying you put it on hold yet, but you put a lot of thought into it. But the thought is of something that's not here.
It's not even there. It's the what if. And I fucking hate that. But hey, reality check number 2. I got another one. I might have to pull up all the time. My nigga is checking me out here. No, you right, bro. Because like, I battle with that, bro. I'm always in my head. My girl get on me about it. Everybody think too much, bro. And I overthink a lot. But yeah, I'm really effing myself up, bro, low key.
No, it's good to think. It's good to overthink situations that are at hand. Something that's not even at hand. It's not even at hand.
That's scary, bro. I think about the future so much, and I think because I believe in the unknown.
Tomorrow doesn't exist. Yesterday doesn't
It
exist.
sure don't,
Yesterday is not even real.
bro. It didn't even happen.
It didn't even happen. Tomorrow is not even real.
It's not even here.
We can't hold ourselves from doing something
Damn.
today in fear of what is tomorrow.
Damn, my boy got me on a therapy session. Yeah.
You know?
No, you're right. Because I battle with that, but I don't ever really get to hear that from people from a standpoint of that are not actively involved in my life every day. You know what I'm saying? And from somebody who don't really know me that well, but is able to see something in me for you to even invite me to be the first guest. Yeah.
I knew it was
I know,
gonna be good.
it's something in me. So I know to hear that from somebody else, that's, I got to get out of my head, and stop thinking so much about the unknown and the what if. But I always think to the future so much because the past is a bittersweet thing for me.
Right.
And I mean, that could be a whole nother
As
topic.
in what? Like let's
Yeah, that could be a whole nother thing.
let's dive a little deeper into this.
Yeah.
So the past, let's talk about it.
It's
Because that's what's causing your reluctancy.
bro, it's I got problems, bro. I got need therapy.
Your
No.
past is what's causing
Yeah.
your reluctancy because you don't want to reproduce that, or you don't want to have to go through it again, and you don't want I got into the same problem like having my son. I was raising my son as if I was raising myself on the east side of Long Beach, and that nigga ain't never have to deal with none of the stuff I was going through. But I'm raising him as if he's gonna have to go through the same issues I went through, and based off my past. Some shit he's never gonna fucking see. So it was my ignorance and my insecurities of me raising the inner child in me that was destroyed.
Right.
And that child doesn't exist in my son.
Damn. So it's like you're building something that's not even there, or
Not even
curating
there.
something that's not even there. I think mine comes from a place of, I guess just the unknown is well. What was your initial point before I don't?
So the initial point is
about the bittersweetness
the
about the
bittersweetness
past.
of your past.
Okay, so I didn't want to get off topic. My fault.
It's all good.
My past was.
You don't got to get into too much detail.
No,
but
it's not. I'm just trying to. I don't want to sound like bitter. It is, even though I said bittersweet, as crazy as it sounds, the prefix to the word.
Hey,
but
hold on. This is the thing that we do, right? We as a generation, as a people, as a sex, as men, we hold on to this shit so tightly out of fear of what is going to be thought or said. And we keep this shit in here, and it ain't no way that shit is going to get fixed here. My trials and tribulations don't help nobody if I hold on to them.
If you hold them in, yeah.
Nobody benefits. And the thing is,
damn,
we got to get to a point where we have to release that shit.
Yeah.
Because it's not real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like holding a grudge against your past you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you literally hit it on the head, and I'm just sitting here thinking, as people probably see, like I'm kind of taken aback. Just I've had these moments of recollection with myself, but I never really had them with somebody that's not, I wouldn't consider like a super close, where I talk to every day.
Yeah.
Again, no, nothing against you, obviously, but I haven't really had these conversations. But I'm trying to not be too emotional about it. But there is traumas or things from my past that are unfulfilled.
Right.
That I think lead me to hesitance on growth in myself and curating my future. Because like what you like, to your point, like those traumas or those things that rub me the wrong way, now you want to do everything to prevent them now. Right. And it leads you to even trying or to even accepting that this is what you should be doing or could be doing. I beat myself.
It's called avoidance.
This is a reality check. I'm sweating in this motherfucker now. I'm over here having emotions, nigga, eyes getting red and watery, like, god damn. But no, it's real.
It's called avoidance. You know what I mean? And if you talked about it more, it wouldn't have a big as an effect on you right now.
Yeah. It would be easier to talk about.
Thing 30 times, if you would have talked about this 30 times to somebody, it wouldn't have the same weight that it has now.
Yeah.
But we hold on to it and we give it the power.
Yeah.
We give it its strength by holding on to that shit and keeping it in.
Yeah, because then I just think it's just in my mind like this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it's unfair. It's unfair to you. you're being selfish to you.
Yeah.
You're neglecting the better you.
I think I try not to live in the past. You know, sometimes I do. It may seem like it. You know, you hold on to memories. I think everybody holds on to certain times and memories of their life that are important that you kind of feed off of or live off of. But I try not to let it weigh me down. But there's a lot of shit from my past that I did and accomplished that 90% of people, not even just in my city, 90% of people where I come from or in that type of environment will never experience.
Right.
And I feel like I'm thankful and honored to be able to have lived the life that I lived, but there's still so much untapped potential and so much untapped heights that I know that I was able to reach. Not even just as an artist, you know, everybody laughs at the artist thing, but I was doing very well and I was becoming very successful. You gotta.
My daughter is here.
Oh,
Hold on one second. I'm just
go ahead for sure. Oh, I got my own camera. So look, while he gone handling family business, we gonna keep it rolling. Shout out to Rio. Shout out to Reality Check, episode 1. I am the first guest. I feel honored. I feel honored to be the first guest. Hello, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I don't want to be disrespectful. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate. Again, I was just telling I was telling the people I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course, man.
Just in case you don't cut this out.
I'm
keep
glad.
it
Nah,
natural.
I'm not cutting it out. I'm keeping it all real. Like
go.
this is the reality check-in with Rios. This is at my house.
Man.
This is my 13-year-old daughter getting home from school, getting to see her daddy do this.
Yeah, that's
You proud of your
tight.
dad, babe?
Yeah, he doing it up. This is good.
I love you, Sticky.
See, watching this goes back to the child thing. I want that.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? And I know that someday, hopefully, God willing, that's gonna, be able to where you have that excitement to just see her come home from school. Like, let me give you a hug. Like,
Yeah.
see you every day, every morning, but I got to get that hug when I come home. And,
my little stink.
yeah, that's dope. But yeah, I think just kind of what we were just saying was the thing about a little bit of bittersweet. Yeah, I try not to live in the past.
But I got something I'm gonna tell you right now that you just said that I caught on to. So.
But I know how successful my past was to people who are not trolling and who
Do you
are
know
able
how many
to,
people are going through that shit right now? That you're not helping get through that?
I know. That's why I kind of want to wait and see if I get a platform to do that on. I don't think
No,
fair
I'm
to
not
say
saying-
is
no, no. I'm not saying do it here or do it there, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, here's perfect.
You have to realize that what you went through, this is your connection with humanity now, right? Like this is your human, your spiritual being.
Yeah,
connected
get to
the
see
world.
me outside of
because
a
there are
podcaster.
hundreds of thousands of people right now all across the world that are dealing with that same trauma or same thing of the past that can't move past it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that, and you saying that you've been through 90% of, you've done more than 90% of the world has done, don't you think all those experience that you've had will benefit everybody else to see?
Yeah.
Like, damn, look
Yeah.
at what this dude went through and look at what he made it through.
Yeah, my
look at-
testimony definitely could help a lot of people, and I think, again, that's what I battled with dating back to when I first got on here, and I was like, I don't want to, it's crazy how all this ties together. I don't want to really be on cameras because those bittersweet past traumas, which led me to
Avoidance.
avoidance. That's literally what it is.
Avoiding his own greatness.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
all do it. We all do it. It ain't
We
just
do.
that. We all avoid our greatness for some reason. And it's
Yeah.
usually over something that's not real.
Yeah, I think it made me very hesitant to where when I first was around.
I'm glad you fucking finally came and got on camera.
Thank you.
It's beneficial, and it's just you're in your premature stages. You're
Yeah.
in like you're a teenager right now.
Yeah,
or
they're getting
you're
to see
like
me wet
elementary.
behind the ears.
So you're
Yeah.
it's only gonna get better. You're only gonna grow and be more productive and more comfortable.
I appreciate it.
But these kind of things, these conversations are the conversations that need to be had and having impactful
Mhm.
conversations. Not just, hey, how you doing?
Right.
Nah, like how you doing as a son?
Let's get in depth.
How-
Yeah.
How are you
yeah.
doing as a son? Are you where are you failing at? What are you succeeding at? Where
Right.
do you need help? But
Yeah, I think eventually I was hesitant just because of those past things that rubbed me the wrong way. And I also know everybody laughs at me, but I know what comes with being a personality.
mm-hmm.
no matter what people want to say, I know what it's like to be in front of the light and have people pay attention to you, good, bad, small or few, a lot at a time, sign an autograph, take a picture, whatever people want to troll me for saying. I was able to experience what comes with that. And I know as time went on, being a celebrity and famous in this last 10 years versus from maybe like 15 to now, those last 9 years, being in the spotlight and being a celebrity and being famous and all that, it's a lot different now with social media. And I think when I realized what came with being a music artist and a celebrity and having to do, and again, I told you I do everything myself, and I still did that my whole career. Eventually just became, you get kind of tired of it and you fall out of love with it. And I fell out of love with it because it's like a girlfriend, right? And you're with a girl for so long, and then slowly but surely she changes, and
turns into something that you didn't fall in love with.
Yeah, you didn't expect it to turn into. You like what are you doing, babe? Like I've been in love with you since I was X amount of years old. It's 15 years now, and now all of a sudden you change it. I'm not doing anything different. Why are you changing? What's going on? And you like, I'm just evolving. It's just the growth of a woman. I'm just the evolution.
Maturing.
I'm maturing. But in my case, with music, I looked at it like what I fell in love with. Like I love hip hop on me for a reason. A lot of my tattoos are music inspired because it did mean so much to me. But I fell in love with something and it started to change on me. And it wasn't anything I could control. It was part of social media coming along with music and streaming and having to build core fans and do a lot of more stuff on your own. And so the workload that came behind it at that time frame, after doing so much for so long and signing with a manager and the manager taking over and not having to do a lot, and then that not working and then going back to having to do it all again myself, it just was like, I've done this for 12, 13, 14 years
That's
now.
almost like a relationship too. Like,
I
got to know this girl, and now I got to find somebody else and do it all over and build all over again.
And I got to do it again. You left me, and it's like, okay, I want to stay in this game. I still want to make music, even though it's changing to be mumble rap and auto-tune, and this is the era of streaming kicking in, and things were changing. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to let it defeat me. I'm going to just change my sound and do something a little bit different. But it's like, damn, I got to find the love all over again because my mindset changed at that time too, to where now my outlook on being a rapper, I didn't want to be braggadocious and be materialistic and talk about the common things. I wanted to give you a message. And with message music, it's a lot harder to make it, especially from ground zero. So in that transformation period of my life throughout music, I just realized being back on camera, what comes with it, the workload, what you have to do, how much you have to embrace and be able to take criticism and people talking shit about you and all that. I didn't want to do that again.
Right.
So when I was telling people I'm not pressed to be on camera, I don't want to be on camera, it was for my own benefit. I knew when I get on camera, as people can see.
What's up, babe?
Hello. As I got on camera, as people can see, I bring a charisma. I bring an aura that is contagious, like I said. And I knew that when I got on camera and I started doing that again, I was going to be full-fledged in it. And so I wanted to make sure before I got on camera full time, I really wanted to do it. So for a while, I was like, no, I'm not pressed on this. I don't even want to be on camera. I don't care about this. But as it's, God comes sometimes, steers you ways. And I kind of started listening to myself, like maybe this is put here now for me to forget about my past, or not forget about it, but learn it as like, that's what that was to learn you for this. Maybe you should embrace it.
Every past experience,
man,
is built you for the next, right?
Man.
You don't know what the next is going to be, but you've been built up from your past. You built up to what you are now. It's made you more ready, more equipped with more tools in your belt to handle the next thing. Sometimes we may think we're ready to be this, and God says, no, it's not your time. And now he's put you in a situation where this platform, I'm not talking about mine necessarily here, the reality check, but just
this umbrella
streaming live and YouTube and all this. You have way far more reach with your message that can be clearer. And you don't have to think even, how do I make this message catchy?
Yeah, he told me this behind the scenes too, y'all. So me and Rios have had a couple conversations, and he be putting a lot of shit into perspective that, he's like, you don't have value. I can't even heal, and I can't add value to anyone's life unless I have these discussions and these platforms where I'm able to talk and converse like this with like-minded individuals that are able to pull it out of me. We talked about me starting a streaming thing because I was impressed by what he was doing, and he like, bro, go for it, do it, like start from the ground, X, Y, and Z, and get your message out there. There's people that need to hear what you got to say so that you can help guide people without even being like a coach.
Right.
You just talking. So hopefully, if the time comes soon, y'all might see me with my own platform, and I think that will be a way to kind of take what he's doing. I like this sit down environment to where we can have real dialogue, and we're not just surface based news, entertainment, laughs, jokes, comedy. I really want people to be like, damn, I connect with that.
Yeah, which
And
there
I've
is a
realized
place. There is a
now-
place for that.
Yeah, I've
the
realized
entertainment
now that's what I
there's
want.
a place for that.
Yeah.
But there's also a place for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the thing is, you got to be like people say, like when you're married, you want to be equally yoked or whatever. But you want to be equally balanced in what we put out. Like we put out this, let's put out this also. And I saw there was a want and a need for this in the arena.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and
definitely
it
was
wasn't
a
being
space.
provided. So just like I don't know how it naturally happened, but this is what I want to do. And there's room for everybody to do it. It's billions of people on YouTube.
Yeah, and the opportunities, it's been put in front of me now. So again, I just got to take it as like, this is God, redirecting me back to the spotlight, because maybe that's where I was supposed to be the first time, and I didn't fulfill what he put me to do, was be a voice. And I always looked at music like that too. It was just, well, at the beginning, it was always braggadocious. Everybody want to be famous, rapper, brag,
right.
get all the money and jewels and girls and accolades. But as I got older, I realized that, man, my voice needs to leave an impact. And once I realized that music was meant to be message, or it was to taint the message of the masses through hip hop, I had to change everything I thought about what it was, what it meant to me, and all that. And so that's why, another reason why, it's not just that I quit and gave up. I thought that entertainment industry was low key is the devil. As crazy as it sounds, but the Illuminati and all that we talk about is tied to a lot of the music industry and the occult symbolism that they put in all these performances and all these hand gestures, stage presence, costumes, all that stuff that they do is very satanic. So I'm not very religious. I'm not religious at all, more spiritual, but that wavered me away from hip hop too. And now that I'm more aligned with myself spiritually, and I feel like my third eye has been open for a long time. Now I know that if I'm being led back into this space in front of cameras, I was supposed to be there.
Exactly.
And I have to now embrace that is my calling, is to be a voice for people to relate to learn from, to fuck with, whatever the case may be. Like, it was supposed to be in front of a camera.
Right. And so I say like this, right? Like, because we could go into some conspiracy, like, maybe we'll do another one and we'll do like a conspiracy episode where we go into like all the Ice Spice stuff, the Olympics and all that. We'll get into all that.
Should.
But just to say, like, what you're doing now, right? Like, it's recorded. It's here. It's here forever, right?
Yeah.
So I said, even if what I do on my camera or on my show, even if it doesn't make out to be a monetary gain or something like that, right? It will be.
It's not all about the money.
It will be an archive.
Yeah.
I have like 200 something videos out where it's just me talking, trying to be positive and just trying to send out a message that is something that I don't need a photo album.
No.
I don't need this. I have an archive.
You have
for
a
my
digital
children,
legacy.
A digital legacy for my grandchildren.
Yeah.
If they want to see what their grandfather was on.
Yeah, that's so dope.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the change that's happening now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, there is a reason for it beyond just the monetary or the getting out there and doing this and doing that. It can be so that your fucking 3 generations down get to see who Stetson was.
Yeah, no, for real.
Man, you look just like, how many times did somebody say, you look just like your great-grandfather?
Man, and you can see me live in the flesh moving in 4K.
At fucking 35 years old.
No, yeah, that.
At 40, at 42, at 50.
Real memories.
This is like real shit that is tangible beyond just what people are saying on the surface level. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he thinks he's this, or oh, he's doing this. Why? But it's not even for you.
No, it's not. I may not even know who it's for, but they're gonna find it, and you know, that's the biggest thing. Like you just said, with all the tangibles that you have with putting out content, how much you can reach, even if it's not financial gain or monetary gain right off the bat. Because again, I mean, I know how important money is. I know money is power. It's the root of all evil. It makes the world go round. But I'm not fame or money hungry.
Right.
I don't need attention. I don't need clout. I don't need accolades. Yeah, showing love every once in a while, like I said, that's great. Show me some love. But I don't need to be high praised and like all that to be like super warm and receptive. I'm a very introverted person, bro. Believe it or not, I can speak very well. I can be very extroverted in certain situations, but nigga, when them cameras go off or when I'm not in a space like that, I'm recluse.
Right.
I don't really want to be bothered and talk to many people. If we're not like-minded, it's hard for me to have conversations with people. So I just kind of a lot of what people get is surface-based. And I'm glad that platforms like this and what you're doing and people are like-minded to allow people to get that shit out, man. Get that shit off.
Like, let's say visitors in the culture are guests to the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
They only know about the culture what they see.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't really gotten to experience 75% of what our culture is or what it. They are interviewing 10% of what this culture is, right? So they're visitors. They have a guest badge on. You know what I mean? Like just like with Vlad talking shit about Marlon Wayans. Vlad is a visitor. He doesn't know how important Marlon Wayans is to us.
Yeah. He didn't. I guarantee
Because
he didn't grow up watching
he's a
Wayans
guest.
Brothers. Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't know what the Wayans brothers did for young men, young black men, young brown boys in the hood, and being able to see them doing things. But because he's a guest, he thinks he can disrespect somebody that's a legend to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because like it or not, Marlon Wayans was a big part of a lot of young black men's life. The whole Wayans family.
Huge part.
The Wayans family has done so much for us and seeing them as a family unit.
Mm-hmm.
We would never get on camera and disrespect Marlon Wayans.
Nah.
That's something I'm gonna have a conversation with you off camera, but these are guests. These are visitors. So they don't even know, like, oh shit, that's the ultimate disrespect. It's not gonna vouch well. But this is why I say these platforms are so important, because look at today. On Club Shay Shay, Marlon Wayans was on there. They have 47,000 viewers on the premiere live.
At one time. And
he said he wasn't worth $40,000 for the interview. But that's the mark he set. But guess what? We have to build the platforms that we want to be on, that we can relate to, that emulate what we are.
Yeah. And it's going to catch the right people, because like you said, he doesn't know the impact that the Wayans brothers or even the Wayans show or the family had on certain people, but that's an ongoing. I still say lines from that show to this day that they curated and started. So yeah, cultural impact is definitely a thing, even especially in this space. You know, you want to make sure you're not overstepping.
Who's better to be in this space than us?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, who's better than us? Who's better to be coaching these young men?
Yeah, no,
who's better to, like, it's us. And so we have to build out so that we're ready to receive and bring in, right? Mm-hmm. So we build our things so that, oh, you ain't got to deal with him. Don't fuck with him. 50 Cent told Tony Yayo on Vlad.
Yeah, do your own shit.
Do your own shit. He told Vlad, like, nah, I'm fucking with, you're not paying me enough or whatever, however it is. But giving avenues to other brothers to be like, you know what? Mm-hmm. I'm going over here. Mm-hmm. For us, by us. And I'm not saying that on any kind of like diss against anybody, but shit is changing.
So to that point, let me just ask you, since we on your shit, what made you think or decide that I'm gonna get on camera, which is probably different from how you all grew up. Cameras wasn't really a thing, and then in our generation and your generation time frame. So it's like, when did you realize, or what clicked with you to make you be like, I have a voice, or maybe like what same thing you're telling me? I'm sure you told yourself, or maybe somebody told you, but what clicked when you was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it with my homies, and then I'm gonna do it on my own. What was it that clicked in life that was like, my message is more important than, or what I can give to other people is more important than not doing it? You know what I'm saying?
So I would say COVID happened. I think it was COVID happened, and my kids, and I was just getting like frustrated with my children.
Was this before Ace Boys?
This is before Ace Boys.
Okay.
And so I was getting frustrated with the children because they were so worried about outside perspective. Right? They were so worried what other people thought and this and that. And so everything I do is I always have ulterior motives like behind it and reasoning why I'm doing it besides what people would think.
The surface of
And
it.
so it was to benefit my children so that they could see their dad saying, fuck it. Like, nah, I believe in what I say and I stand on it to the world.
Who cares what
And
people
I don't
think?
care
and
what
say? Right.
So I used to do shit on COVID. I would go outside, drop Zaya off with my hair all crazy and go talk to her coach. And be like, and she was like, Dad, I can't believe you did that. Like, what does my image do to me?
Yeah, but see,
what does it do to me?
Do you feel like you want to break? Do you feel like you to that point still about starting? You feel like you have the want to break down the stereotypes that people put upon people that look like us? Like, do you feel like by doing this, you may get a demographic of people that don't look like us, and they might be like, damn, they really changed my perspective. Do you think about that? Like, even talking to the coach, like, I want this coach may be a white coach. He may think I look X, Y, and Z, but let me speak to him so he can see how I talk and how I carry myself to let him know. Do you want to actively change people's thoughts about people like us or people that look like us?
I do. And the reasoning behind that is because
it's a big responsibility.
It's a big responsibility, but they're not platforming the middle ground. They're platforming 19 Keys, or they're platforming the biggest gangster, whatever.
Right.
But they're not platforming what's the 85 to 90% of what's in between, which is brothers that grew up in the hood gangbanging or not gangbanging and turn their life around and trying to do better as a family.
Inner city.
So I was like, how is it that the majority is not being shown? And so that
is true. That's really not. They show the minority on both.
The minority.
Either the minority about the worst that's happening or the minority about the best that's happening. It's so many people in between. And it's an area that is for that, right? And so just like even the colorism, right? Like this colorism big topic.
The thing about light skin, dark skin, right?
Yeah, man.
Or the beige rage or whatever. Like now it's to a point where I feel like it's a need to say now light skinned nigga is a derogatory term for a man.
It is, especially if it's coming from somebody who is darker complected, because you're saying it because you're trying to downplay me or make me feel less than.
Make me feel less than. So light skin, you can exchange that word now. Oh, you acting like a light skinned nigga. You could replace that word with a soft nigga,
a bitch,
a sensitive nigga, a buster ass
sassy,
nigga, a punk ass nigga.
Yeah.
That's what light skin is. And so that's what they're attributing to light skin. Those are the characteristics that they're attributing to light skin.
Complexion.
Not Huey P. Newton. Not Louis Farrakhan. Not Barack Obama.
All fair-skinned.
All fair-skinned brothers that have done amazing things in this world, but they're not attributing that to it because we're taking on the characteristics of the others, right? Instead of building up
us.
You know what I mean?
And staying a unit regardless
stay in
of
a
the
unit.
color.
So we want to say, oh, so now it's like if somebody says that to me, or which having like maybe my brothers would say some funny shit or whatever, like, but now I'm taking it as in, so hey, so what do you mean by that?
Yeah, that's kind of what Keem did the other day on the 200th episode.
Like,
wait, let's break this down. What does that mean? Because to me, most people say it, like you said, in a way of like downplaying or like trying to it's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing. It's a derogatory term.
Because I got less melanin. God damn it.
Yeah, so like they using it as a tool against you, right?
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
that you can not be proud of who you are,
yeah.
Right? Hold on, look at this. Yeah, they're using it as a tool against you, and really it's to make you not proud of who you are. And so I started really thinking into it, and it's a lot of light-skinned brothers that have done stuff. Like where you've had to prove yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've had to go above and beyond to prove or to prove people wrong. Like, oh, I'm not like that. I'm not a pretty boy. I'm not this. And I wonder how many people have risked and sacrificed their future or their livelihood to prove somebody wrong, that I'm not a light-skinned nigga, or I don't act like this or this and that.
Let me change the narrative or the context of a light skin. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely. Have you did you deal with it?
Yeah.
Growing up, yeah. So
So I'm Puerto Rican and black. So I got a lot of people not even know what Puerto Rican was in Long Beach. I really didn't know what it was. Like, really, you know what
the
I mean?
descent of it,
Like the understanding of
Right.
what Puerto Rico was. But a lot of people like they used to ask me in school. They're like, "Are you mixed?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not mixed." Like the first
because
second
you
grade, I didn't think
you didn't think mix was just black in anything.
in anything. So I'm like, "No, I'm not mixed." And so I went home, told my mom, she's black. I was like, "Mom, am I mixed?" She was like, "Are you mixed up in the head?" I said, "No." She's like, "You ain't mixed, nigga."
So I'm not no longer. I'm not. I think if you're of double
So she
minority,
sent me out to the world just lying.
just lying, telling everybody I'm not mixed. You didn't even really know. That's cold.
But that's how it was. But it was like, because everything is a learning experience, everything is growing, and a lot of people didn't know how to be. Like back when we were younger, the derogatory thing was like, you black, you dark, you dark person. Like, and so the spin on that now is it's gone complete 180 now.
But see, it goes all the way back to slavery.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's deeply, deeply rooted.
Colorism is a real thing, and I think we need to get away from it. Like, especially as grown men, you know what I mean? Like,
because imagine a light skin. Imagine me. Obviously, I don't know if I don't know if I'm considered light skin. I'm fair colored skin, but I'm black and white.
Considered light skin,
but I'm black and white. I think when I think of light skin, I guess I could be wrong, but I think of lighter complected minorities, full black men. You're just fair skinned black men. You're light skinned black men. I'm half white, so I don't know if I'd be classified as light skinned because my skin sometimes be pink. So I don't know. When it's winter time, I lose all colors. So I don't know. I mean, being labeled a light skin, it was for a while. It's funny, you know. Like for a while, it's like, oh, that's the joke. But imagine one of us or somebody my complexion, like, man, you acting like a dark. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds so bad because we're talking about the complexion of a darker complected skin, which is the foundation of African Americans is dark skin. But it's like, damn.
Are we gonna
if I say that, it looks like I'm damn near being racist against my own people. But light skin is like, ha, 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 ha. And light skin is like, because I'm light, fair complected, I'm softer. Or I was the house nigga. Or I don't want to get my hands dirty. And it's just a crazy narrative that further separates. And I think it's even worse. I think it's even worse with the women.
Oh,
I think men, we can take it as a joke and laugh with our homies.
Yes, women on women.
But yeah, women colorism, I think, is a lot more touchy because a lot of people I think a lot of women think that colorism, or I don't think they think, I think it's true. Colorism puts you further in life being fair-skinned as a woman.
Right.
Or I don't necessarily think men think that way. Like light-skinned men get more opportunities than dark-skinned men. Where I think a lot of women, colorism is a bigger deal because it's like they use the fair-skinned woman in the commercial instead of using a brown-skinned sister. Or in the music video, they got all the light European models and not the brown-skinned models. Where I think it's more of a clash, more of a community divider.
Yeah,
colorism with women.
With women, for sure. Well, things with women are always exacerbated, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit different with women because women are different than men.
Yeah,
like,
the emotion behind it is different.
But I think it's the same with men because there is a privilege as light skin.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, I see what you're saying. Even with cops and police and shit. I got you.
And isn't that like a darker skinned brother can't say, I'm not black.
Right.
Nah, you black, homie. Like, you can't fit in. You can't disguise. You can't switch up. You are what you are.
You deal with it all
and
day.
So it may come from the point like where, nigga, you ain't got to deal with the hate as bad. You ain't got to deal with it as much as I do. You'll get it, but you'll get it on the back end.
So is it rooted jealousy, low-key?
No, not.
I mean, I don't want to paint that narrative, but I mean, if you constantly feel like because my skin is lighter than yours, that not only, I mean, obviously opportunities may be different or how you're treated, but does that make me less than or softer than? Like, that to me is like the fucked up part. Is like, you're trying to make me feel less than.
They're bagging on you. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bag. I don't think it's not out of jealousy.
But that sounds like jealousy. What else do you have a reason to talk bad about me because of the color of my skin? That means because it's like, do you want the opportunities that I have? Do you want to not feel stereotyped the way I do? Does that stem from jealousy? Not saying you're a jealous individual because you're brown skin, but when you spew that kind of connotation out, does it make you look like, damn, do you wish you were light skinned?
No.
You don't think it comes from that standpoint when people say that?
Because I would never wish I was white. You know what I mean? Like I love what I am.
And it's a little different though,
But-
because you can still be black and stay true to black, but be fair skinned. But to switch completely white, like after you look at how white people act, it's like I don't want to be white.
I don't think it's jealousy. I think it can build like say if a child, two children are sitting at a table and one always gets dessert after dinner.
Mm.
You don't get dessert. But this one always gets dessert. It builds animosity.
But animosity is a type of jealousy.
Animosity is more me versus you. You are getting something that I deserve as well. It's not as it builds like a dislike.
Yeah, because you're getting it you're getting a favoritism. But if you see someone getting a favoritism that you think you're supposed to get, aren't you jealous of that?
No.
I'm not trying to
that's
point it to jealousy, but I just want to think the full context. Is that an underlying thought?
That's like somebody saying that I want equality for society. Are you jealous of those that have? Or are you just saying that you want equality?
You want equal.
I want a fair, equal trade.
But I think it's stereotypical. I think it's stereotypical to say just because you're fair skinned, you do have more opportunities. I mean, I think history can show you that to some extent, but that's not always guaranteed. So for you to naturally have that,
more so than not.
It's a cold stat. I don't know how we
more
can prove
so
that
than
stat.
not, because people are more comfortable with what looks comfortable. You know what I mean? Like what looks
safe.
Safe. People are more comfortable with safe. I just talked about this the other day. More people are in tune to Steph Curry because they can relate to him. He's short, he's small, he's this and that. Versus the big black man, they can't even relate to him and they're scared of him.
Right.
There's
it is a safer look. It's a safer bet. It's a safer, like even when you do, like I watch these commercials I talk about with my girlfriend all the time, and you see when they put like families together, and every time you see a black woman, it's with a white man or a very fair-skinned man.
Right.
Fair-skinned, light-skinned man that may not even look black, may look like me low-key, and that's the commercial. They don't ever put a brown-skinned, strong black man to showcase the black household on these commercials and in these movies. A lot of times when you see those couples, it's a mixed couple. So it's like, what are they promoting? Is that the acceptance that they want to have a bunch of mixed babies?
They're promoting what's going to make money. They're promoting what more of society would accept. They're not going to promote what society doesn't want. They're not going to promote what white people are scared of. Like this,
but they're scared because it's the unknown. For so long, brown-skinned men have been painted as burly, scary, strong thugs. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how soft of an individual you may be, that's what's portrayed of you,
right,
like off the jump. So it's like you can't even change that narrative.
Because is it going to affect the bottom dollar?
Bottom line.
Is it going to affect the bottom dollar? Is it going to?
That's why I think in those commercials they think that
they do.
Let me not.
And so that's why I say. It is a privilege to it, and it is opportunities that lighter skinned brothers like us.
No, you're right.
We're privy to,
even for the sake of that commercial, like I was just talking about. Yeah, instead
just
of
like job opportunities, like you may have an interview and they're more comfortable with you because they're like, yeah, I'm nervous to be in the room with that nigga.
Yeah,
alone.
No, you're right. Like my customers may accept him more or feel more comfortable sitting with him because of. Right. The fair skin and the well spoken. I got you.
It's more accepted.
No, it is more accepted.
And so that
I just want to be. You're saying they just want to be equal.
They want to be equal, and they don't understand. Like, not that they don't understand, that you don't understand.
I don't understand their plight of what they go through enough to. But that doesn't mean I have to accept the jokes. Like
no, this is separate.
In the sake of like DW and Keem, like that doesn't mean you have to call me a light skinned nigga just off the simple.
That is a separate topic. That this is a more in-depth. We're talking about how we're accepted in society from the others. That is a conversation about us to each other. But there is an animosity there because of what's happening on the outside. My day-to-day has helped me build.
But even if it's not something that
You good.
Even if it's not something that they that affected them personally, it's still okay?
No.
Like, well, who's to say that just because you're brown skinned that you reserve the right to feel this way about all light-skinned people? You've never been slighted, or you may not have felt it, but you just want to speak up because that's the thing to do. And it's like, I'm not bashing being brown-skinned. My mom is a beautiful brown woman, beautiful chocolate woman. My girlfriend is mocha. She's a little bit lighter than chocolate. So I have no problem with skin complexion whatsoever. But I just feel like why do brown skinned people, males especially, resort to using that as a way to like get laughs or to one up us? Like it's like it's our fault. Like we can't do nothing about that. How are we supposed? It's not like we can change that.
So
the color of my skin.
That goes also. So we could tie that all the way back into what is your defense mechanism? What is it that you resort to in this situation?
When somebody says
when
that,
you're when you're backed in the corner, you resort to your defense mechanism.
right?
Everybody has their defense mechanism. This is how I get. This is how I could get a light skinned nigga. This is how I can get him bothered by throwing this in his face. This is how I can affect him.
Right.
This is the quickest way to get a
reaction.
A reaction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that, and so it's unhealthy, and no one's saying that it's okay to do that. You know what I mean? Like, but even Kobe Bryant told Jordan Clarkson, stop going to the hole like a light skinned nigga.
So pretty much you're saying like just Dre son, light skin, but I'm still a dark nigga. The connotation is light skin is soft. And that's the problem that I have, is because the color of one skin does not dictate how tough they are.
No.
And to portray that image is just like, man, we got to get past it, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that shit is right. I'm saying I started this by saying that needs to change because it's a derogatory term.
Yeah.
Saying somebody, if you could say that somebody acting like is a light skin and you can laugh at that, that's a derogatory term. It's a joke.
Like you don't want your daughter to come home and feel like somebody said you're picking on her because she's fair complected. She got long hair and, you know, the girls deal with that. So you don't want to feel that and have to deal with that coming from a loved one and feel like your kid's dealing with that. So it's like people who are still pushing the narrative of it, how detrimental it is to the youth, because we could have deaded it and not let it keep catching fire to where it's not a big thing for them. But now that does affect the self-esteem of youth more than as an adult. Yeah, we can handle it. We can run it off as jokes. We can shoot you back a joke. But as kids, they might think that's law, like, or feel a certain type of way, or feel stereotyped or singled out because of their complexion, and that's where it's detrimental.
So we've been saying animosity. Maybe it's not. It could be animosity. Maybe they despise what you get, the opportunities that you get, that you go through. Are you talking up for me? Are you talking up for the 7 of us that are outside?
Right.
What are you doing with the opportunity?
But doesn't advocating look corny? Like,
it doesn't matter if it's corny, but is it beneficial to the others? To the guys that are left outside.
Sacrifice yourself for the betterment of others?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like white people that are supporters of the movement or whatever. Are you taking that? Are you only talking to black people about your support for us? Or are you going into those rooms that you get into, speaking the unheard, talking up on how you feel around them?
Right.
Are you just doing that here? Right. So the thing is like, we have an opportunity with some of the privilege that we got to help change the narrative or to help people see things in a different way. Bringing our homie in, like, nah, this is just like me. We are the same exact person. But those that are on the outside seeing that privilege take place, it will put up a little bit of like, hey, dog, like, the fuck? Yeah. And enough of it, and then history, hundreds of years of kitchen nigga, a house nigga.
And that's what I'm saying. So would you rather deal with the derogatory terms and somebody being racist to you or stereotypical to you based off your skin complexion from somebody in your race and in your culture, or somebody outside of your culture? Because now you that's crazy, because now it's like you don't accept it from white people when they do it, or other races when they say these things. If a white person was to talk about a skin complexion, it's a bad problem. So we're accepting internal racism, internal colorism. And it's like
prejudices.
So would you rather your kid deal with racism or colorism and prejudice amongst your own people?
Colorism for sure.
See, that's what I'm saying. So people put so much emphasis on people being racist and all these white people.
No, I'd rather her deal with colorism for sure.
Than racism.
Right. Because racism, by definition, is being able to affect the future of somebody, affect the life of somebody in a negative way. Being able to keep people from resources, being able to keep somebody from bettering their situation.
So don't fight amongst the others, fight amongst ourselves.
No,
It's a cold way. It's a cold way.
No, you said, what would you rather?
Yeah.
I'd rather my daughter be able to still get the opportunities that everybody else is get while dealing with jokes.
So pretty much you're saying that the opportunities are going to be presented to her by a white man because you're saying that the racism, you'd rather her not be looked
Racist?
at.
No, you're putting white as the racist.
So I'm thinking like, okay, think of it like a job interview, right? Old white man versus old black man. Your daughter's fair complected.
No, see, you're separating the black man from the white man. They both can be racist towards this.
Right. I'm saying the white man is going to be racist because it's a different race. The black man is going to be prejudiced towards your daughter for her fair complected of skin.
No, he's going to be. So you can't take the two. The white man is racist and the black man is racist. The black man may hate his race.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about internal racism, which you just classified as.
No, you said, what would I rather have? My daughter deal with racism or colorism? Colorism and racism are two totally different things.
So I'm saying the black man that's having the job having colorism issue with her and don't hire her because she's fair complected versus the white man.
No, that would be racism.
No, that would be colorism. I'm a black man, and I don't want to hire your daughter because she's fair complected. No, it's because of her color of her skin. But the white man does it. It's because of race.
Colorism is talking about your color, or just saying like you're a light skinned black. I'm a dark skinned black. I'm this. It's not.
It's not making choices based off of it. You don't think so? Okay, so you don't think there's colorism. You think black people can be racist against black people?
Yes.
So that's what I was asking. I'm thinking black people, you don't deem a black person to another black person racist if they're acting away. You would label that as prejudice or colorist because this is your same race. You just have an idea about them based off the color of their skin. So I would deem you a color. So to my point, I'm thinking of it like your daughter goes to a job interview. It's a black boss. He doesn't hire her because she's light skinned. I'd rather hire somebody who looks like my daughter, brown skin. I want a brown skinned daughter and girl in this seat. And you have her deal with that versus she go to the same job interview, but it's a white man and he doesn't want her because she's black. So that puts you in like, are you more mad at the white man for saying, I don't want my fair light skinned mixed light complected daughter to get this opportunity? Or are you mad at the black man for not giving it to her because this is our race, she's just light complected? And that's kind of like what I was trying to land on as far as which would you rather deal with, a racist or a colorist in the sake of your daughter?
A colorist.
You'd rather her deal with her own people not accepting her than white people not accepting her because what you're saying is stereotypically they're the ones in power and they're going to give her those opportunities that you don't want her to not have.
No. So what we've been talking about, the subject of colorism, is what happened with Keem and DW. Are you dealing with beige rage, right? That's colorism. Mm-hmm. You walked away from that. Now, what if racism would have took place at those tables? You don't just walk away from it. It's a bigger issue.
I think it's deeply rooted because, like I said, we don't accept it. It's not okay from white people. We ready to clash and bang and fight and shoot the club up if it comes from a white person. But if it comes from a black person, we can maybe talk about it or maybe get up out of there.
No, because it's not, they can't hinder your opportunity. They can't hinder or stop.
Who can't?
Your progress. Somebody, me and you. I can't be racist to you. I can't stop you from getting utilities.
You can if you're in a position of power. You're saying that black men aren't in positions of power?
I'm not in a position of power over you.
But there are black men in positions of power who...
And that's racism.
I don't know how you can be... Being prejudiced to your own race is... I see what you're saying. Okay, so if they're both brown complected and that same choice, that is racist. But you don't think the color, to the color's point, weighs in on that decision of the complexion of the skin being not about race, being about the complexion?
So it doesn't even come down to the color. It comes down to you stopping somebody from gaining in life. If you are an obstruction to a person, a group of people from gaining and growing, that's racism. Racism is based off power, stopping people from going forward. If you're stopping somebody from getting a job based off of their color, that's racism.
So, and also colorism a little bit. So let's just say it's not a colorist thing.
Let's see. Let's look up what the definition of colorism.
Okay. So let's just not say it's let's not say it's the color thing, and that would you rather her deal with black racism from her own race or racism from white race? Not colorism aspect, just actual racism. I'm a black man not allowing your black daughter in a position to do something versus a white man not allowing her. Discrimination.
Discrimination based off skin tone.
So it's a type of discrimination, a form of prejudice and discrimination in which people of certain ethnic groups or people are perceived as being different skinned. But that's off the skin tone. Oh no, that's not colorism. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. So it's not racism. It's a discrimination. So what's racism then?
Watch.
Because racism is against a different race. It's the same thing, but just a different race.
See that? Can you see that?
Racism is discrimination and prejudice against people based on their race or ethnicity. Racism can be present in social actions, practices, or political systems that support the expression of prejudice. So essentially, I guess what it's trying to say is race solely bases on you're doing it based off of the race itself.
And stopping them
because of their race.
Right.
Not necessarily their color.
Being an obstacle to them or stopping them from having rights or being able to vote just because of their race.
Because of their skin, right.
Because they don't give a damn if you dark black, light black.
It's just the fact that you are.
Mm-hmm.
You just are.
Just are. But I think that's a good conversation, good topic, because it is, I'd rather my daughter not have to deal with racism at all. You know what I mean? But if she's dealing with a black racist,
like a brown skinned woman who's just on her, and you can just tell it's like a colorist animosity. Like, you know, I don't know if my sister is very bright like me, and she dealt with it growing up to where she felt like her. I won't say felt like it, but the brown skinned girls like kind of bullied her and picked on her.
Right.
You know, that was the first era. We were like one of the first generations for real, like mixed kids growing up in the early 90s going to school. So she was kind of bullied just for being light skinned, long hair, and whatever the case may be. So it's like these things are present and things that are still going on, maybe not to the same extremities. But it's like
because we're growing as a community, like we're growing as
from a brown skinned girl to a light skinned girl.
I feel like we're making advances as a people. You know what I mean? Like I think it was more so. It was worse back in the day. You know what I mean? Like towards each other. But as we mature as a community, as a people, we're getting away from that shit, and it still exists. You know what I mean? Like you still have people talking about black men rather be with this woman, or black men
athletes and all that.
Like, you're still dealing with it, but amongst ourselves, I don't think it's as prevalent as it used to be. You know what I mean? I think it's now more so.
Yeah.
Like light skin, you acting like a light skin nigga, and but I'm just saying it's a derogatory term now.
No, for sure, it definitely is, and that was a great way to touch on it. It comes back around to if we are supposed to be supporting each other, the race is what's important, not the color. And even somebody of some minority, you're still supposed to be somewhat of an embrace and not feel like it's a separation. Because I feel like now it's being weaponized.
Because colorism is across the board.
Yeah.
If you're a darker Asian, that means Indian, that you are more working out in the field.
Yeah.
You're not an inside the building important kind of person. And colorism is across in Mexico, in Puerto Rico.
It's crazy. It goes back to like slavery. So outside, you're in the sun, you're working hard. It's hard labor, so you're tough. You're light skinned, you're in the house, you're folding clothes, cleaning, doing soft shit, so you're soft. So it literally all stems back to the connotation of slavery. And we wonder why we're still being treated like this, and we're talking about it. We're pushing it ourselves.
I wouldn't even just attribute it to slavery, because some of the shit is caste systems. Some of it is class.
Oh yeah, classism is for sure a huge impact on that. But do you think classes let certain people in based off of their color? So
you are darker because you are, like, they would say, like, if they are doing classism, right? Mm-hmm. You're darker because you're of a lower class. You're in the field class. I'm in this class. So a lot of racism gets mixed up with classism.
What you income, what you make, and where you're from. The environment, the background you come from also as well is also too. Yeah, no, it sucks because it's like, and the minority is normally always in a lower class. So now you have two hurdles and two obstacles to overcome. You're a minority and a minority, and you're also in the lower class or income class, and they look at you economically as nothing. You're black and you're low income. You literally have no value. So yeah, I mean,
to certain people, to a certain kind of
yeah,
race.
I'm not saying you don't have no value. Whoa, let me correct that.
I
You
gotta
don't have
clean
value
that
to
up a
the
little
world. Yeah, to them, to
Yeah.
they. You know, the low income black woman is probably the most frowned upon human being. They say in the world, the low income poor black woman, and then you got the low income poor black man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you have that, they don't really care about your
Like they
your
say,
voice.
the greatest trick ever told, was that the devil doesn't exist. I think the second greatest trick that's ever told is that a white person of low class and a black person of low class, you're
Are
in
different.
the same class.
They're the exact same.
But you may think that you're different than
Just because you're white.
Just because you're white.
Yeah, no, a low
Guess
class
what?
white person with the same income is
You're
treated
the
the
same
same
as
way,
me.
especially in this country.
You're the same as me. Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like you. Oh, they over here. Ain't we in the same neighborhood?
Yeah.
Ain't we dealing with the same growth?
Yeah, the trailer park white people is the same thing as the project black people.
And so
it don't matter.
Like a trailer park white person will vote against their own
Yeah.
interest because they
They're
see
white.
themselves as upper class white. They
That's-
don't they don't see
That's
themselves.
fucked up. You don't even, because that's what I'm saying. It's based off of, you stick with your race, but it's like the separation of the classes is crazy because it's like, yeah, you could be a white man. You might get treated differently if you put on a suit and you go to a job interview, how you look, but your economic value, what your
the same as me.
importance to the country and to society and what you do and pay taxes and how you eat is the same thing. We're gonna kill you the same way we want to kill
Same
them.
way.
It ain't even gonna matter.
You a worker bee just like everybody else. And that like the greatest, but the way they keep it like that in that class is they keep the ones in the same class worried about the election, worried about division, worried about immigrants, worried
Instead
about
of self-improvement.
Instead of self-improvement
Yep.
and knowing like, hey, the betterment of you is the betterment of me.
Man, for real.
But
They put so much hope behind a party.
are behind they
power.
they relate more to somebody who's rich
Yeah.
than somebody who's poor that's eating the same food as them next door.
Just because you look different. Do you
Nah,
speak
I put my no. I'm voting this way because motherfucker, you're not even in that tax bracket.
voting for this
You
people?
voting for them. But they trick you into thinking that you're different. It's all about divisiveness and separation.
Yeah, as soon as we come together, that's when you overpower. You can't have that. Do you obviously I know you think like that. Do you believe that certain agendas are pushed out to brainwash or influence more in our culture than in other cultures? Like as far as like the content that's put out, the type of media attention, the type of stars that get the type of attention in our demographic. Do you feel like there's I mean, I'm sure you do. That's probably why I'm leading to this question. But the higher agenda from the theys that we speak of in these conversations, when we say theys, the higher authority, the people in power, is it an ulterior motive to continue to keep everybody in that box, and also to go a little deeper as far as like what they give us in our areas, how what they feed us, what's in our grocery stores, what's in our medicine in our areas? Do you think that it's by intent still, and that certain things are being done to continue to make us fight against each other?
Absolutely. So you touched on a few different things.
Yeah,
like
my bad.
So about entertainment and who they choose to do this and that.
Yeah, just the masses pressing things on us, and then also like
What's acceptable and what's not
yeah.
acceptable. And then this is what we're pushing. Of course, they always have an agenda. It's always an ulterior motive. And what is consumed more than anything? Black entertainment. So we kind of get caught up in thinking like that it's just for us.
No.
It's not.
They got us shucking and jiving out there.
They got us shucking and jiving for other people too.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is listening to it, and we get caught up in like, oh, Ice Spice is just doing this because of no. She's sending out low vibrations to the whole world.
The whole world, and it's influencing everything.
It's influencing everything. It doesn't just miss and jump over everybody else and then just hit the black person. You know what I mean? Like we may relate and see ourselves in her or whatever, but
why does it affect us more then? Because it's targeted?
No, not because it's targeted, because you are comfortable with what's relatable to you, what looks like you. So just like the little black babies that thought the black dolls was ugly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's because they pushed these white dolls that were beautiful. Like, this is
as.
what beauty is. This is what this is. That's what was the thing where the bulimia and anorexia was all based off of images that they were pushing to
They
everybody
want you to look a certain way.
to look a certain way
Right.
for these magazines and this and
Right.
that. So there's always an agenda. There's always a reason, and of course, they want us to be separated.
Yeah.
We're the biggest population. The poor class. The
Yeah.
low. It's the power is with the people.
Fuck the race come together. We literally need classes
Class.
to come together.
Class.
Because if you have the 99% outpowers the 1%, the 1% of the people who are calling all the shots, doing all the controls, controlling all the schools, all the funding, all that, them high power people in them places of positions of power and seats, that's the people that need to be swayed.
And it's as long as we're paying attention to these certain topics that they're putting out, these certain women's rights or this and that, and we're just
They're separating.
Separating it.
Fuck bringing the classes together. Let's separate it. I don't care what it is. Yeah, gender.
keep them separated. Oh, now, okay, it used to be heterosexual and gay. Now
Mhm.
there's like 9 different things
There's a lot
where
of letters.
they can class themselves or put themselves in a different box. Like, no, I'm this. You're
to
that.
separate even more. You know, it's crazy
You're
that you
vegan.
just said
I'm vegetarian.
Yeah.
No, I eat meat. No, I'm this. I'm that. It's so many different things.
to make you. It's cooler now to not be like people than to be. It's cooler to be different than to not be alike, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's at one point. I'm like, I started to feel like, damn, why are you so different? Like, but I knew me is different. I'm not trying, but you can tell it's easier for people to try to be alike than to be different. It's
Right.
just so much
we
easier.
share more in common than we
Yeah.
don't. No
Yeah.
matter what, you may have a different belief, you may have a different way of living, but just because we were born on this earth, we have way more in common.
And we're so influenced and influential, and I'm able to be influenced to where like the education is so bad to where we can't even cipher out what we should consume and what we can't, and what's detrimental and what's not. So it's just easy game for them to market to us this bullshit.
So look at this. So what's his name? Something Rupert. Rupert Murdoch, right?
I know that name.
Owns Fox. Like, he's
Okay.
the Fox. The Murdoch family
Yeah,
owns
okay.
owns Fox or whatever. Marlon Wayans was talking about the Super Bowl shit, right? Like that the In Living Color did the Super Bowl halftime show,
Yeah.
and then the next year the Super Bowl brought Michael Jackson so that they wouldn't lose the viewers. So you think about In Living Color, all those shows that were on, they brought in the consumers all the way to that show, then built that channel up till it got the NFL.
Right.
Then the NFL got on Fox. Then they got rid of all those shows.
All that.
Right?
Right.
And now Fox is what it is now.
Right.
Like, they use the consumer who's consuming the most to build themselves
To build
up
the platform.
so they can eventually be exactly what they want to be.
Because we're the most gullible.
We're the most gullible, but also we're the most, we are funny, we're entertaining. It wasn't only black people watching.
Yeah.
It's everybody's watching that shit.
But I'm saying people of entertainment being
Yeah.
used, not just black people being gullible, just people that consume entertainment on that level.
And so they did that, and then they turned from that to this, and now it's Fox News. He just got sued for purposely spreading lies about the election, about the Trump and shit. And so it's $1 billion. They lost $1 billion, and in the courtroom they said, "You are a fool if you believe what we say to be true. We're an entertainment company, not a media company.
We're not here
not news.
to educate you or to teach you something good.
We're entertainment.
We just
and
care
we're
about
opinion based and not facts."
entertainment is another form. It was only created for distraction. I mean, granted, it's good to be entertainers, but entertainment is just to take your mind away from real life and technically distract you from everything that's going on. So once you can find a way to weaponize it, whether it's sonically or visually, they're doing it. And it's crazy because you see all these movies and shows that literally look like they're talking about right now and times or predicting the future. And it's like, man, we know what y'all doing, bro. We know what's going on with all this programming and planning and strategic. Do you think we're at a point now where we'll ever be able to regain power over
No.
the people who are putting all this negative
No.
shit out there?
No,
I don't think it's possible.
it's not. It is not possible. The
So we're
game
pretty
is
much,
over.
we're already on the downfall.
But the thing is, they have put so much hope and energy into this world instead of living for the next life.
The future, yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do after this? What's your spirit?
All they
What's
care
your
about is
energy?
power and control now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Like, you can have that, because what I'm promised after this is crazy. Like, I'm gonna live well beyond what you think. You think this worldly stuff is something, but this is what they do.
Yeah.
And there's no way we could get back. It'll be like fucking Terminator.
Literally,
Like,
the war I was talking about with not having a kid, where you got outside with aliens and shit.
Dude, it would be Terminator. And so Rupert Murdoch, guess what else he owns?
Should some shit.
Tubi.
And that's the negative, or not negative. It's a lot of black movies on there with a lot of bullshit
So what do you
messages,
think he's
right?
gonna do when that gets up?
He gonna flip that and clean that out. He gonna gentrify the fuck out of Tubi. Tubi getting gentrified in a bitch. Damn, I didn't know that. A lot of those companies are monopolized by the same individuals, and they'll just be
They're making smart business moves.
man, literally
They're
using
making
us
smart business moves. We're the ones being silly.
and consuming it to the high rate.
They are businessmen. They don't give a damn about nobody. They don't care if you green, black,
How much
gold,
it affects you
red.
or nothing.
They don't care.
They
They
don't
just
care
are
about none of
doing
that.
whatever they all they know is that you are a number and you're a consumer. This demographic is consuming.
Yeah. So let's push out whatever can get them to continue to consume and bring them down at the same time.
And we know the world consumes them. Let's put them out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put all their shows, all their movies, all that stuff, because the world consumes it. But then when it's not, when they get
Convenient.
boom,
We close it
it
up.
just is what it is. It's like it's business. It's what you can call it what you want. Elitist.
Elitist.
You know, it's a whole bunch
The
of
elite, that-
isms.
and once
and
you start
itis and
talking,
all-
once you start talking about the elite, boy, we get to that conspiracy episode quick. Drop in the comments. Let us know if y'all want us to dive in some of the conspiracies.
Please like and subscribe
yes,
too.
definitely. Yeah. I got a whole bunch of likes on my Twitter. I literally just like all kind of just conspiracy shit. I go back and watch it and read it, and then I'll dive in more if it's something that interests me. I'll dive in more. I got tons of shit to talk about. It's crazy because like the first thing that made me, without getting into it, the first thing that made me like wake up and realize that if they can lie to us about this, nothing is real, was September 11th.
Oh, weapons of mass destruction.
When I realized and started diving in and realized how big of a hoax that was and how much the American government prepped and planned for that to happen, to create a war for oil, for him to go over there and get all that oil from his dad and all the gold and the resources. Once I realized that the country was able to kill thousands of people and crash buildings and do all the whole shit and that it was a planned demolition, I realized that I can't be naive anymore to, if you hear something that you think is a conspiracy, it's labeled a conspiracy because the people don't want you to know that it's true.
Look,
so conspiracies, I love them.
That's a small thing.
It's very small.
September 11th is a huge thing to the country.
That was the first thing. Yeah, that's when
it's
war,
big,
our
it's a
first
big
war.
Thing.
Yeah,
A lot of deaths. 3,000 people died. But in the grand scale of things, of what the government has done, that is a small number.
Oh, that's small drop in the bucket. But that let me know that was the first thing that I think people were able to pinpoint as like the government did it. Whereas like, yeah, they've been poisoning our food. They've been poisoning our vaccines. They've been doing all the syphilis shots back in the day when the government was,
Trail of Tears.
Yeah. Man, bro, we gonna have to sit down.
But you think of Contra, right?
Yeah.
You think of COINTELPRO, where they taught
to infiltrate.
They were teaching brothers how to sell crack here, and using that money to buy guns for the Nicaraguan
yes.
rebels.
Yeah.
To start a coup. To take over the government.
Snowfall was crazy. Snowfall.
Is that what Snowfall was about?
Very similar. Very similar.
If our government can do that, you know how many people crack has killed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm talking about, I wasn't even really just talking about deaths. I think, yeah, they've been doing things for decades and decades and decades. But I think it made me realize, I guess because at that time, 2001, I'm like 12, 13. I think it was such a big deal to me. And then once I didn't realize till I was like 24, 25, maybe that it was hoax. But as I got older and realized it just, that specifically stands out as something that they were able to kill their own people and plan it for the ulterior motive of greed. And once I was able to understand that, then it made me go back and look at all the things that you're talking about, that it started way before that. But it's like, damn, if they're able to pull that off, and then on the COVID and like just all the shit that they're able to do and what they're putting in our foods and shit.
Martin Luther King, look at what this Look at the 60s. Just the decade of the 60s.
That is the Martin.
3 assassinations that were
Martin,
huge.
Malcolm, and JFK.
Vietnam War.
Like
that whole thing was, and we didn't even win that. So let's not even talk about. But you talking about JFK, the assassination of him, assassination of Martin Luther King, assassination of Malcolm
all done
X.
by the government. COINTELPRO with Malcolm. He was sniped by the government, the FBI and the CIA. Martin was sniped, and JFK was shot by the driver with the ghost gun, and he worked for the government. It's a cold place to live in, and you wonder why I don't be wanting to bring no kids in this sick mother.
So they've been doing
That's the type of shit that scares me. It's just because they were able to do that. That's what doubles back to like how this shit first started, when I'm just like the unknown of the future. Like, bro, if you can do that and you see it didn't work or it worked a little bit, what will you be willing to do next for the dominance and control? There's already a plan out there where they want to depopulate, and we're overpopulated, and Monsanto and Bill Gates and all them were trying to depopulate the globe. So it's like, if you want to depopulate us, why can't I be scared for the future? You know, it just kind of brings me back to like, well, you've seen what they've done on our land to us, to their own people, through crack and food and poison and vegetable, all the shit. It's like, I'm scared, bro.
The populating Mars, the whole.
Oh
the
yeah,
whole
Mr.
thing-
Rocket Man, Mr.
the, like-
SpaceX. I gotta ask you a question. How you feel about UFOs and aliens? What do you think?
I know they're real.
Okay. And did you know they were real before you went to SpaceX? I'm
Yeah.
sure that didn't teach you
That
anything.
didn't teach me anything about.
So
but
you already believed in it.
I already knew. I saw UFOs before.
Do you believe in like going past like the firmament, and like rockets can really get out there,
Yeah.
and planets
Yeah.
really being able to be reachable?
For
And
sure.
like, I know you don't believe the moon landing was real.
No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, we on the right page. Ooh, we gonna sit down.
So I don't
It's gonna
believe
be
in the
good.
moon. I know that was a race. You know what I mean? Like just
To
trying
beat
to
Japan or
beat
China? Russia.
Russia, and that was directed by Kubrick or some shit.
That's Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, like I get that, but I understand what they was doing.
Funny.
But the firmament and not getting out, like there's more star. Like so, this sun has provided all this life. This one star
Yeah.
has provided all this life on one planet, and there's 1 million stars in our galaxy,
Mm-hmm. How can
and
there
there's
not be
millions of galaxies.
billions, quadrillions?
They said there's more stars in outer space than grains of sand on Earth.
Yeah. So you believe to think we're the only non-living
absolutely
species?
not.
The only living species is out of pocket if you don't believe in aliens.
Absolutely not. But you get into the Anunnaki and all that like stuff, and the book of Enoch, and Enoch going into the ship, and the books that's left out of the 6 books left out the Bible. You just like you start reading and going into stuff. You know it's
Stuff that they're not telling us. That's the thing about like Antarctica.
oh yeah, the Fallens.
Damn, my
fallen-
nigga's tuned.
Mhm.
You know, it's just so certain things that just makes you think like, even with rockets and space and Elon, it's like, is what he's doing good,
No,
or is what he doing fucking with shit?
it's fucking with shit,
I know it is.
Like,
That's
look
why I
at
wanted to
CERN.
ask you. CERN is crazy.
They
Shout out to
ju-
CERN in
like-
Switzerland.
dude. They're trying to create antimatter,
Yeah, the
But
God particle.
the God particle.
They
So
want to pretty much blow this bitch up.
they scientists for the longest have been trying to discredit God.
They
And
think they're God. That's what CERN. They think they're God. They
Mhm.
think that machine is the God particle. That's what it's called. It's the machine. Look up the God particle. Look up CERN.
The hydrocollider.
Yeah, the hydro collider,
Collider.
whatever it's
Mhm.
called. Man. Yeah, so you know, a lot of people look at people like me or people like you and look at oh, you light skinned, you nerdy, you speak well, you a conspiracy theorist, and you know, a lot of times won't take you serious.
It's
but
realistic. We're just realistic.
yeah, you gotta be. I think you gotta be at some point to think that everything is just peaches and cream and what they tell you, when their intent is to control at the end of the day.
Yeah, like people get caught up in racism. They be like, "Oh, you're always talking about black stuff and this and that, and you guys haven't let that go." So my thing now is like, okay, since you can't see past that, the way that to be effective now, so that you can't deny it, I'm gonna bring up situations about you
Mm.
and how it's affecting you,
Yeah.
because you don't
Like, you mean like real life shit or political shit, or what do you mean?
real life political shit, like
Yeah.
real life and political
You
shit.
don't think it matters, but let me show you why this is really.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
targeted
show
towards
you
you.
how it's targeting you
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
because
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't see it. You can't get past yourself because You think we just complain and talk about this? So now let me show you what it's doing to you and how you're in the same. Like now you got all these people crying about the government and this and that. And
Waking up. They waking up.
Oh, now it's a problem because it's on your doorstep. We've been talking about this shit forever, but you didn't realize it or you didn't give a fuck until you didn't give a fuck about crack. Oh, but now opioids is the biggest thing now, huh? Now it's on. Now you sending these people to hospitals. You sending us to the fucking penitentiary.
They're one and the same.
You know what I mean? Like it's just now, but when it's on their doorstep, it's different.
Yeah.
But I'm pushing that. I'm telling people like it's classism, it's caste, because they can hear it. They're more receptive to that.
Do you feel like you want to kind of what I asked earlier? Do you want to like for things like conspiracies? Are you the person who comes around family or who is the one who's like brings up a conspiracy and your family or friends are like, nigga, shut up? Or are you one of those people who are just like, I'm gonna keep it to myself, but I really know what's going on? Do you want to wake people up? Obviously the term wake up is out there, but I always use that term like, nigga, wake up, like snap out of it. Look at what's going on in front of you.
I'm the person that like I have people in my DMs all day talking about Trump or talking about Kamala or Kamala.
I know I always
Harris or Trump, right? And so they'll be all the way Trump or they'll be all the way Harris. And so what I do, I talk differently to each one of them. So the ones that are all for Harris, I bring up shit that is bad about her or shit that Trump has done good.
To give him the contrary.
To give him the contrary. And so the people that are all for Trump, I give them the things that are bad about Trump and the good things that Harris has done. Because they don't ever admit to anything outside of their narrative or what they see. You can't tell me somebody is all good.
Right.
There's no such thing as an all good person.
But do you feel like it's too much effort or energy out of you to try to convince people of these things? I'm not necessarily convinced, but even when you give advice or information, at some point you want to be heard or understood. Mm-hmm. So like when people are not receptive of it, do you get into battles about like what you know, even when it comes to like conspiracies? Are you one to want to like, bro, like, no, you tripping, let me show you this? Or do you care to change people's thoughts on those worldly things? It's kind of more of the question.
So I do care to change.
That used to consume me, like to where my whole family is like, if something came up, I'd be want to like tell you, no, it really happened like this and that's not true. Or my dad tells me something about the news and I'm like, no, that's not true. Like you got to really dive in. They lying to you. Like I used to succumb myself to that and want to always dive in and tell my loved ones and friends like what you're believing is not true and this is really true. And then it's like eventually people either look at you like you crazy or just want you to shut the hell up. Like don't tell me how to eat.
So it's your delivery. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Instead of giving them the answer, you give them the Jeopardy question. You give them the question, and you start asking them. You make them have to answer questions of what they're talking about. Like, so why is this and that? Like you're trying to understand where their position is. Oh, I want to know why you feel that way. Like, and you get interested in it, and now you start hitting them with
my biggest thing is talking to people about how they eat. What used to be my biggest thing because I'm pescatarian. I have been for about 9 years now. I only eat seafood. Most days I'm actually probably vegetarian. I don't have seafood every day, but I will eat seafood. So I'm pescatarian, and I've been an advocate for it because not only do I know what the government is doing to our food in the country and in our meats and in our and things like that, our processed foods, our sugars. It made me always want to be like, man, if I love you and fuck with you and I see you eating some bullshit, I want to call you out on it. Or I want to try to tell you this is the wrong thing to do. And eventually it's like, nigga, shut up. And it took me a while to realize, nigga, I probably should just shut up. But it's like, if I care about you and I know something and it's like a conspiracy or life altering, it's like I get a joy out of telling people these things because maybe they'll go home and look them up. Maybe they'll be like, damn, Stet was right about that. Or, you know, so my question to you is like, do you find yourself wanting to explain your knowledge to people about things that they're unworldly to? Because to me, it used to succumb my whole life where I'm like, bro, don't eat that. Don't do this. You can't watch this. Don't do, you know what I mean? Like,
no, because I let it come up naturally. I let it come up in discussion naturally. People like to talk, you know what I mean? Like they like to share what they say. And so I don't play devil's advocate outright. I play a game with people. I do like social experiments. Like, because usually what they're talking about, I know more about it than they do.
Right.
So what
you want to hear them out first and then know how to attack.
And I throw up a smoke screen.
So
You know
not
what I
every
mean?
time you're giving it your all to convince somebody, you may want to hear their perspective and then maybe just drop a gem.
Drop or even just get them to see how dumb they sound.
Yeah.
Like get them to explain. So tell me, and then they start
Say it out loud
when
and
they
hear it
say shit
yourself.
out loud.
Yeah.
They start sounding so dumb. They
Yeah.
like
You
they
talk
start-
yourself into a circle.
they start talking themselves out of their own position.
Nah, yep. You're
And
right.
so I like
Proving
to
your point.
prove my point that I didn't even have to make.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, I use people against their own argument. And the other thing is, like with pescatarianism and like eating and lifestyle shit,
Mm-hmm.
actions speak louder than words, right? Like what you're doing, how you look, how you're moving in life, how young you look, how healthy. That shit speaks volumes over, hey, you shouldn't eat that. You know why you don't eat that? Because of this and that.
Right.
Let somebody come up to you and ask you, damn, how the fuck you look so good?
Mm-hmm.
And that's your opportunity to say, hey, I do this and this and this.
When the door opens, instead of seeing somebody with McDonald's, like, nigga, you know you eating human meat right now, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You don't have to be the billboard.
Yeah,
because
no,
the
you're right.
billboard
I
is
learned though.
tiring.
I stopped doing it. I used to be bad. When I first woke up is when it was really bad because it's like, damn, I started watching. I went down the rabbit hole, bro, where I found out everything to how they're treating our food and the meat and the mass production of meat and the GMO and the fake shit and the sugar being more addictive than drug, like all the shit I started diving down and really finding out, and it just was like I was super passionate about it at the beginning because I'm like, I see my family eating bad and doing all this shit. I'm like, no, don't do, like I love you, like you're giving yourself cancer. So for a while I had to take the passion aspect out of it and just be like, man, you can't tell people how they're gonna live. You gotta just kind of guide them to your point of like, let them see you do it, or let them, tell them, instead of telling them what to do, tell them how good you're feeling.
Right.
And just take a different approach to educating people. And I've gotten better at it. And I'm hopefully platforms like this and me being able to stream myself will allow that message to get out the right way. Instead of, how you deliver is very important, like you say.
The other thing is like sometimes adults, some generation, some older people from another generation, they stubborn as hell.
Boy, my mom and dad stuck like a bit, boy.
It's like, it's almost like exhausting and wasting your breath talking to them because
but you love them though, and that's the battle I dealt with. It's like, how many times can you, and to your point of the message, how many times can you say something one way? It's like, even with your kids, I'm sure there's times when it's like you tell them the same thing and you tell them again and you tell them again and you take the right approach 4, 5, 6 times, and now the 7th time you might have had a bad day or something. You like, Ma, what don't you get? Why are you still picking up Wendy's on the way home?
Right.
and then now my message sounds crazy. But for the first 6 times, I'm like, man, you shouldn't eat that. They put bad stuff in their food, or just, man, you should start cooking at home, or the little things I do to not say it. You only can say for so long. Like, stop pissing me off.
What about making a bomb ass meal? Like making a tomato burger or one of those patties out of like. One of my favorite things is fried green tomatoes. Like I love that shit. Like my grandma used to make it. Like making a burger out of that and eating it, and then they taste it and they like, what the fuck is that? Like, oh, this is how you make it. Yeah. Like
you gotta show them.
You gotta show them
instead of tell them
because some people are so against it until you slap them in the face with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then also you being their son. Sometimes people can't listen to the people closest to them.
And that's what I think it is too. It's like they love me, so they respect my standpoint, but it's also like, oh, this is just Stetson telling me the same thing again, or he thinks he's doing is right. What makes you think we've been eating chicken and this our whole life? What makes you think, well, food is different now? But you don't. They're stuck in their ways. My dad is 60. He's
like
65.
If you don't know that there's putting GMOs in vegetables so that bugs eat it and they die, do you not think that when you eat that stuff, it's not the same shit that's going into that bug is going into you?
And all the pus and steroids and blood and stuff that's in the pork and all that. I mean, yeah, I grant it. I hate to sound holier than thou when I talk like that, because a lot of times it comes off as that, like, just because I don't eat it, I think I'm better than you. That's not the case. I just know that I'm eating better than you. Doesn't mean I'm better than you. I just made a conscious decision to stick to my plans of not doubling back.
You're more disciplined.
Way more disciplined. And also, too, mine's not just off of, I've always been skinny. I'm never going to gain weight. I'm going to be like this my whole life. But mine was,
watch you hit 40.
Never going to happen. It's not going to happen, bro.
God,
I'm telling you,
Lord.
bro, it's not going to happen. I can't get.
Lord, don't let him die.
I can't get fat, bro. It's not in my family. It's not even possible. I got like 0% body fat. But especially with the way I eat. But to my point of just like you talking to your family, it's like food is so different now, and I don't want you to think that I'm better than you because I'm eating better than you, but you got to stick to the discipline. And to my point was, it's obviously the discipline about tasting better, but it's also, mine was deeply rooted. It was cruelty to animals. It was the environment. It was knowing how the animals was being raised, knowing that there's not enough chickens and cows being born and raised every day in this country to feed the amount of chicken and beef restaurants that we have.
Right.
So like once you start
magic meat or whatever, mystery meat.
Yeah, once you start to realize, you go to one place, go to 4 different places and get a chicken strip or a piece of chicken and break it open, and I guarantee all those chickens look different. And it's like, how many different type of chickens is there, bro? Like eventually you start to put common sense with things. Like, you not feeding me real food. I know better. And then if my loved ones are getting this, let me try to coach.
But look, astronauts go out into the outer space and don't eat real food.
Those MREs. I mean, I'm not saying you're gonna die by.
But no, I'm just saying, like, they have been eating, like, if just put it like this, if they're giving astronauts food that's not real, what do you think they do to you?
Yeah, the people who have value, who are out helping them out in outer space, you think they care about you? They don't even care about their astronauts?
They giving them, sometimes they're out there for years.
You know, there's certain levels of elites that they mark certain packages to know what you shouldn't eat based off of your class. Like if you're financially in a certain position, they label certain brands and products with little color markers to know what not to ingest, so that their people don't do
buy
it.
Yeah,
but everybody else does.
I believe it, man.
Yeah,
like I believe it. All these damn food deserts and shit, but that shit is real. Like we're gonna have to do a conspiracy.
We can just take. I'm gonna come with a list of them.
I'm gonna come with 5, and you come with 5, and we'll just have a hot 10
Ooh,
that we talk about.
That could lead into some cold
that'd
shit.
Be dope. But good stuff to come for sure. But this is Reality Check with Rios. Stetson, first guest.
Man,
thank you for coming. I appreciate
you. We better wrap it now, because if we don't, we're gonna be in for 4 hours.
Right.
Because this could we could talk all day. I can tell we like-minded. We could talk all day.
But you see how we just talked for this long with no computer, no script, no nothing, no videos, no.
We literally came. He's like, yeah, I might have something. We started with the most basic stuff, and you touched on, got into the life, and then that's it, man. I had some reality checks with Rios for sure. I appreciate you, bro. No, for real. Like,
it's all good.
I'm
brother.
honored to have been your first guest, and honored to to sit down with you, and hope I can expand our relationship and friendship beyond this too. Cause
absolutely.
This is dope. This is really dope. So what's your plan for it? I mean, I'm sure you've been telling the people, but you got a plan so what they can expect. Because I'm gonna be tuned in if you're doing shit like this.
This is what I'm planning on doing. Just have it with each because the thing is, people think that certain people aren't able to have these different kind of conversations. And my goal is to show them that each and every person that I know that I've interacted with is more than willing and capable to have a different type of discussion and have a great discussion. Right. They just need the platform or the opportunity.
And the space to somebody to bring it out of them too. Right. A lot of times it takes that. I take, not to dive back into me, but I take pride in that, on Fair to Say, is like being able to open people up, to be like different than what they're used to seeing. Yeah. And have more real life conversations. Be like, all right, there's more to the surface than just what you've been showing people. And I took that approach with Fair to Say. You got it with your own platform, and I'm going to follow your lead.
That's why it's called Reality Check.
It's a cold name. I've been telling Rios, he got the perfect name, bro.
Like, so people going to come here. We're going to talk about reality. Yeah. We're going to get into some stuff, maybe some personal things.
Yeah, you got me a little emotional over here thinking about the past. I'm like, oh, shit, it's different.
It's all good, man.
Like, you got that touch.
And this is just the beginning, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the beginning of building a relationship, friendship, and fellowship, brotherhood. And if somebody comes here and is on this couch, you know I fuck with them because this is my house.
Yeah,
I'm not bringing anybody into my house that I don't have a good feeling or a good connection with, because I'm a big believer in what you accept into your house.
Man, that's love, bro.
You know what I mean?
Appreciate that, for real.
I appreciate you. I respect you. And thank you for coming.
Always.
So you guys can know, if I have somebody here, it's because I actually fuck with them
for real. So, it ain't just for the clout.
Not for the clout and none of that stuff. So Reality Check with Rios.
Episode 1.
Featuring Stetson.
Run it up.
And we did a good 2.5 hours.
2.5,
okay.
Bro.
Let's go.
Yeah, let us know what y'all think. Obviously, let him know what you think. I want to know what y'all think. I gave a lot of stuff that's different than the norm for me. So I hope y'all appreciate it and embrace me and keep doing it and keep embracing this guy, because this is gonna be special right here for sure.
Episode 1, plenty more to come. I don't want to say who's coming next, but I already got it lined up. You're gonna enjoy it. Hopefully, I want to eventually get to 2 a week.
Ooh.
But it's gonna be 1 a week for now. But just be on the lookout, man. I'm gonna have this shit going.
I'm proud of you, bro. Keep doing your shit. I'm supporting all the way.
All right, y'all.
Holla.
Out. Boom.